Wow. I muted myself the whole time. Now I gotta read that butcher of a job all over again. Okay, one second. I'm gonna blow my schnoz. Now no one's gonna know the thumper joke. Wow. I'm sorry, everyone. I was muted. Hey there, hi there, ho there, everybody. It's Mindfulpig here, and guess what? I'm gonna say once again, it's the Two Tired Dudes podcast. On this week's episode, God, it's like deja vu. On this week's episode, we're gonna discuss what our games would have been if we were right now in 2013. So I thought it'd be kind of cool. The more and more I talk about it, the dumber it sounds. But at the time, it seemed pretty cool to it's been 10 years. Let's pick out the games that came out 10 years ago and say what would be our game of the year if it was 2013. The reason why I thought it'd be cool was because it's been 10 years, so it's a long time for us to process these games, to deal with any glitches or problems, right? So, great example. Didn't come out 2013, but just a good example is, No Man's Sky wouldn't have got Game of the Year launched. But now at this point, right, it has gone through a lot of changes, a lot of quality of life stuff. So it might be a little higher on the rank. So yeah, I thought it'd be kind of fun to go through those games and just say like, hey, this one I think would be totally game of the year. This one that was game of the year really didn't live up to the hype in the end. But I do have a message from JW, which I'm going to try to read out again and totally butcher it. Maybe I'll this time I read on my phone, so it's easier. I can't because I have the other thing open. I was gonna say this. Sorry. If you message me on Twitter, if you message me on YouTube, if you message me on Discord, wherever you want to do it, right? You're unable to come onto the pod. I promise I will always read out your messages. If it's related to the question, or if you just want to go like, "Hey, what's up?" I'll read that out too. But yeah, I just want to. I feel like I didn't emphasize that enough in the past. That you don't just have to be on the podcast. Like you could also just write in, and I could use that too for the podcast. But yeah, so anyway, that option is open to you guys. But let's try and read JW's thing one more time now as Cheyenne cringes her way through this with me. So his game of the year was Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut. Because he said that one came out in 2013. I didn't look it up, but I'm going to trust him. So his reason for it was that basically the bosses were a mess before, and parts of the story were cut out. He said in the director's cut, they brought all that back. They made the boss battles great again, and they also were able to add more to the story itself, which I said is totally cool because for me, it's usually the opposite. I usually find the director's cuts take away a lot of stuff. So that's kind of cool that they were like, hey, you know what? We kind of fucked up this game a little bit. Let's polish up, let's fix it up, and re-release it. Which now that I say this, a game I honestly can't tell you what's changed is Sonic Adventure. Because I know there's Sonic Adventure, then there's Sonic Adventure Director's Cut, and I never really noticed much of a difference between the two of those. I should look that up one day and see what it was. Because I played both, and I really didn't. I don't know. I didn't notice anything big or different. To let you guys know, this is an idea at least of. I'm not gonna read them all, right? But I'll read a few of them. What came out in 2013? So in 2013 we got Grand Theft Auto 5, huge drop. The Last of Us, Tomb Raider, the reboot series, which should get more praise than what it was getting. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Outlast, Bioshock Infinite. Oh, Batman Arkham Origins, that was a pretty popular one. Beyond Two Souls, that was kind of a hit and miss. Metro Last Light, The Wolf Among Us, oh, that's a good one. Injustice, Gods Among Us. Wow, Saints Row 4 came out the same time as Grand Theft Auto 5. Shit, that's big balls. That's big energy. Payday 2, Deadpool, ooh, God of War Ascension, Battlefield 4, Devil May Cry reboot, The Walking Dead Season 2. Oh, the Stanley Parable. Wow, that's a pretty big one. Ooh, Aliens, Colonial Marines. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Ooh, how do you say it? Rise, Son of Rome. That was a really good game, actually. Wow, Rust came out way back then. Dead Island Rip Pool. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Dota 2. Oh shit, man! If certain people are on this podcast, I know they would defend that to the T. Like, here's some big games. Actually, I didn't realize there was this many. Warframe came out in 2013. Damn, bitch. Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon. I haven't played any of them except for the first one, but that's still a pretty big drop. Dead Rising 3, DayZ. Damn. I love what they put on here WWE 20K14. Like it was a big deal. Okay, I'm kind of curious what page 2 is going to hold. If there's no more like big bangers, I'm just going to ignore it. Oh, Super Mario World 3D. That's kind of big. Killzone Shadowfall. Oh, Lightning Returns. Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time. Yeah, that was number 4. I mean, that's exciting for us Sly Cooper fans, but I get for most people that's not a big deal. Crisis 3. 2013 was a good year. Holy shit. Brother, A Tale of Two Sons. That's a pretty decent one. Gears of War Judgment, 7 Days to Die, Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 Remix, Call of Duty Origins. I remember that one. Wow, Ratchet and Clank game came out same time as Sly Cooper did. That's weird. There needs to be more Sly Cooper games though. That's a damn shame. Oh, Ace Attorney came out. Oh yeah, there it is. Deus Ex Human Revolution. Okay, I think after this we're starting to get into like not bad games. You know what I mean? It's not the games you're gonna be like, oh shit, that came out. Oh, that's kind of cool though. Neverwinter. That's kind of interesting. It's on there. Of course, a Pokemon game came out. Oh, State of Decay came out that year. Ooh, Leisure Larry. That's a bad game. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Assassin's Creed 3. Not the 3, sorry, it looks like a DLC. Yeah, Mass Effect got its. Oh, this would be a big one for you, Cheyenne. Slenderman came out that year. You love that one. The Arrival. Looks like a lot of expansions came out that year for a lot of random games. Dishonored got a bunch that year. The Metal Gear Solid Collection. Oh, Grid 2. I've heard of that one. Oh, Ice Age had a game that year? Shit. Ooh, Contrast. I still haven't played that one, but that does look like an interesting game. Okay, I can kind of see why. Like, some of these games I know because I've downloaded them because they're free for gold. I can kind of see why they got tossed aside and not noticed. Ooh, Dragon's Dogma. That one. That one hurts. No wonder that didn't do very well. Excuse me. Monster Hunter 4. That was okay. Pikmin 3. Damn, a lot of Dynasty Warrior games. That's cool. Shut up! The angry video game nerd had a video game? That's wow. That's dope. I gotta see. I just like that blows my mind. He has a video game? Oh, it's not gonna load it. Okay, I'll have to look that one up afterwards because that's really interesting. Looks like XCOM came out that year too. So I mean, there's some big bangers on there. The only shitty thing is I haven't played a lot of these games for 2013. But with that being said, honestly, the top 10 here are like literally the best ones. So even though I haven't played it, so my opinion's kind of pointless, I'm gonna have to say I would still say The Last of Us deserves to be game of the year because when you think about it compared to like all these other games, like some of them are sequels, some of them are original entries, no doubt. Um, but I feel like it stands out. Like it definitely stands out more than Grand Theft Auto 5. Even though I'm sure Grand Theft Auto 5 was great, like I did play a little bit of it. I like that whole idea. It's just it's number 5. We know what Grand Theft Auto is. You know what to expect. You know what I mean? Tomb Raider reboot was fantastic. I think it should have got way more praise than what it was getting. But still, like we've had Tomb Raider before. It was good for Tomb Raider compared to like if I was compared to like another remake. But this was again The Last of Us was original content. This was when it first came out. Again, versus Assassin's Creed 4. That's already number 4 in the series. Batman stood out, but Arkham Origins, I believe, was a sequel. So again, Outlast was good, but I don't think it was as good as The Last of Us as far as originality goes. Call of Duty Ghosts, get out of here. Not even a contender. Yeah. Again, I haven't played it, but that would be my solid pick. I think The Last of Us deserves that spot. Um, yeah. So that was kind of an idea. Sorry, I'm just like everything we're gonna be focusing on and talking about. Um, as for me, it's just been kind of a tiring week, so I'm sorry for a little bit low energy today. It's just been a lot dealing with work. We have an issue right now at work on our parking lot, and yeah, it's just been a big, huge fiasco. I'm not going to get into it all, obviously. It's just a lot of shoplifting and a lot of crapola. As far as gaming goes, though, I've honestly been kind of not Team Xbox lately. I've been a lot of Team Nintendo. I've been on the Switch a lot. I've yeah, I've just literally been playing the Switch like a ton. I'm still on Crystalis. I'm still bouncing back and forth in that game. I got another shooty bang bang game. You're basically like a spaceship and it's like Space Invaders, but like with bullet hell. So you're just rocking that for a while. It's kind of dumb though because it does have lives, and I hate lives in games. Like, just let me keep going. Don't make me start all the way back at the beginning again. I hate that crap. Excuse me. So yeah, I've been playing that one a lot. Still have to finish Breath of the Wild, the very first one, not this Tears of the Kingdom stuff. And I played a little bit of Metroid too. That was really good. I like Metroid One. That was actually pretty decent. I'll go back to it. It is very challenging, but I feel like it's gonna make me appreciate Metroid more. So I'll have to go ahead and play more of that. I played a lot of Kirby's Adventure. I think it's Kirby's Dream Land Adventure. I used to play it all the time on the regular Nintendo. So it's been like really cool, like going back to it and just like playing it some more. I like that one a lot. That one's actually pretty damn decent. Oh, hey JW,
How are you?
not too bad, buddy. How about you?
Good?
I was just ranting about what I've been playing the last couple week or last week. Sorry.
Yeah, cool. What have
Yeah.
you been doing? Well, without necessarily repeating everything, I guess.
No, no worries. I just said I've been kind of on my Switch a lot lately. Because I got that $5 package. So you get like what is it, the regular Nintendo games, Super Nintendo, and Game Boy. So
Right,
I've actually
right.
been able to play Metroid, for the first time. That was a pretty decent game. I might go back and try to play a little more. It is challenging. Like I get why people say it's gonna be hard.
Well,
Uh,
Super Metroid I find is much better than the first one, but it's good as well.
yeah, yeah, just like just fun to experience it. I think I've told you before, or at least I mentioned on the Discord. I played a lot of Crystallis. That one's really good. I like that one a lot. It's a little RPG from back in the day. Um, what was there? What I was saying? Oh yeah, yeah, Kirby's Dreamland Adventures. That was really fun. I used to play
Yeah,
it all the time as a kid, and that was
same.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I used to play as a kid all the Kirby's. I even had it was one of the only games I had on the Game Boy Advance SP, the mirror one, Dream World or whatever. No, not Dream World, but anyway, doesn't matter. I had so many of them: the N64 one, the Super Nintendo one, and all of them.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I was saying earlier, that's pretty much the only game. Like I know I beat a few games on regular Nintendo, but like most of them, I played and like that was it. Like it was just the experience of it. But I remember every Kirby game, yeah, I was always able to beat. Like they were challenging, but they weren't too challenging. You know what I mean? Like it was so easy to get through them.
Yeah, they were quite easy, I think. And there were
Yeah,
specific levels that were for some reason much harder, but in
yeah,
general it was pretty, you know, easy difficulty.
yeah. Like I mean, most of the bosses I was fighting again were really easy. I think the only one I found challenging so far was it the sun and the moon you have to fight, and it's just because like it's fighting two of them at the same time, and they both have like ridiculous moves. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like it was just kind of like dodging them all the time. What about you, buddy? Though, what have you been playing for the last couple weeks, or have you had a chance to play any games?
Yeah. I've bought actually two games. I've bought Ready or Not that I play with my best friend here and there,
Oh, okay.
which is pretty good. It's a bit like the series SWAT if you play alone, so you control AIs and command them and to enter a place and strategically take out the enemies while rescuing the hostages and all that.
Wow, that sounds pretty cool, actually.
It is. If you're into these kinds of things, it's not for everyone because it's not super action. It's more strategic. But if you play with someone, it becomes a co-op um, shooter game more so than anything else, I would say. But it's still fun.
Oh, okay.
And I've bought the Starship Trooper Extermination game.
Oh,
That
I
is
know they had a Star Super game. That's cool.
yeah, it came out last week in early
Oh,
access, and it's really good. I think they have a good base. I mean, there's obviously some polish needed, but the the main thing they have like two mission type is really
okay.
good, I find, and it really captured the atmosphere and visuals of Starship Troopers. So I'm really digging it because it's one of my favorite movie, if not my favorite movie of all time. So
Oh, it's such a good movie. Like, great choice. Like,
yeah.
what's the difference in the two mode types? Like, is it just
Oh
two
yes, I
versions
have
of attacking,
explained the
or?
game. It's well, basically it's 16 player on this big map, and
Oh, okay.
either it's a quick type of game where you land, you take out some key parts of the map, so take out enemies and key spots, and then a base comes in well, not a base, more like a outpost type of thing. You gather resources, and then you end up at your main base, build the base with your team, with the ore you collected, and then protect something and extract. And there's the second mode, which is much slower and much more open, and which I somewhat prefer as well. I think it depends how fast of a game I want to do or a slow one, but basically, that second game you already have your base and you have multiple objectives. You have the
Okay.
ore objective, but you have the gas canister objective, which this is the main objective of gathering like 6, 7 gas canister. But if you don't, as long as you don't gather them, the game doesn't advance. So you can procrastinate the end of the game infinitely if you want to, I would say. But
Oh wow.
so you can do all sorts of side objective, gather the amount of ore you want, build all the defenses that you want for when you have all the canisters, you're ready for the big finale, right? So
That's
that's
kind of cool. I
cool.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's neat.
and so these I've been playing a lot. I've having a blast. Have three. There's like three classes you can choose from, and the more you play with them, you unlock stuff, and so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I was gonna say I didn't realize you like that kind of game series, like real-time strategies.
It's not a real time strategy.
Like, oh,
It's
did you see you had like a base and stuff?
oh yeah, but it's a
Like,
first person shooter.
okay, okay. Sorry, I was picturing like Command and Conquer the way you're describing it.
Well, there is a Starship Trooper game called Terran Commander, I think, which is that, but it I don't find it
Oh,
very good. It's quite
oh,
simplistic,
okay.
and but no, this is a first-person shooter where, like I said,
Oh,
you
okay.
select a class, you and with your team do all sorts of objective, and yeah, no, there's a base building component, but it's more like in let's say like No Man's Sky, where you decide what defenses to
Oh,
make and all
oh,
that.
okay. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. Yeah. No, it still sounds like a lot of fun though. And then, like I said, I like Starship Troopers, so that'd be kind of cool to get
Well,
back into
I
that.
would recommend it to anybody. Like I've been having a blast. Plus, oh, I forgot to mention when the mission ends, you have to extract. So you have to make your way to the extraction pod, and now, of course, every arachnids, bugs just come out of the ground and run after you, and it's really hard to survive. Like I've seen only a couple out of 16 to survive more often than not. So that's pretty
Wow.
cool as well. I mean, it doesn't matter if you survive, I guess. Maybe you get more points, I don't know. Because whether you lose or you win a mission, you you have to run to the extraction point.
Oh, okay.
It's a bit like in Titanfall, where you needed to run to the extraction and without the ship getting blown and
Yeah.
extract. So it's a bit like that, but much
Okay then.
harder to survive. Plus, the missions, the more you go on, the greater the threat of enemies become, and more enemy types appear, and all that. So
Ooh. Okay, I like that. That's a really cool mechanic.
yeah, a bit like in Risk of Rain 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I like that mechanic.
Yep.
Um, nice. Did you see any other like movies or TV shows? I know last time you kind of watched two new movies, I think it was, but that was a little while back.
Did I see? Well, not new stuff. I've watched like older movies, like I've rewatched Vanilla Sky. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
No, that one doesn't sound familiar. What's that one?
It's uh, it's hard to explain without spoiling anything. It's even impossible, I would say, but
Oh,
ba-
okay.
basically, it's you follow the life of this young guy that inherits his father's company, money, and all that, and he's a bit vain. He has all the latest tech, takes everything for granted, and all that,
Oh,
and
okay.
and um his life ends up shifting in all sorts of weird ways, and there's a back and forth between moments in the life that is very interesting. That's all I'm
Nice.
going
Is
to
that
say.
one on Netflix
Movie.
or?
It's a movie with Tom Cruise, and I think it's on Paramount Plus. But you
Oh,
can
Paramount
buy it
Plus.
on
Okay,
DVD easily. I'm sure it wouldn't cost you that much.
that's true. Okay, okay, nice. Okay, I like Tom Cruise. I would watch that.
Oh yeah, it's one of his early roles, but it's one of his best, I find, because there's a variety of emotions and just powerful, complex stuff that he is able to play all the way through the movie. So it's really
Nice.
good if you haven't watched it. It's a bit
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
though. It's a weird movie. I have to say.
Ah, it's okay. I've seen some pretty weird ones before. I don't mind. I'll watch that one.
Cool.
Yeah. What else, buddy?
I've been watching as well. Raised by Wolves. It's called
Ooh, okay.
on Crave HBO. If you're in Canada, it's Crave. If it's America, HBO. And it's been really good. It's basically um, two androids that have taken a float of like human embryos and they've went on another planet and they have to uh, raise them as atheists because in the future religion destroys the population and in wars and stuff. So
Wow.
and then you end up, of course, seeing uh, humans that agree with the religion come in and all that. So it's without spoiling anything. There's so much that happens. Like it feels like like we I watched like half of the season, and it feels like a whole season has passed. It's really good, and there's a lot of
Wow.
philosophical religion and interesting questions ex- that they explore and all that.
That's cool.
Yep. And I've been watching as well Barry.
Oh,
Um,
Barry.
yeah, which is really good in general, but I have to say they've made a weird decision during half of the fourth season, and ever since that weird decision, uh, we've seen two episodes, and it hasn't been very good compared to the rest of the series, which is a bit of a letdown because it was so strong all the way through.
Yeah,
And
I remember Chris really praised that show quite a lot from the Super Show.
yeah, and yeah, it feels like they've been told this is the last season, you have to finish it, and then and so there's I feel like two things that they've tried to put into one season, which doesn't work very well.
Like, does it feel like it's kind of getting rushed as you're getting closer to the end? Is that why? Like, you
And
could tell that they're just trying to wrap it up quickly, or?
yes and no. It's actually much slower than the rest of the series where we're at. It's
Oh,
more like
okay.
it's two ideas that are a bit conflicting each other in a timeline in a it's hard to say without spoiling anything. So I'm going to leave it at that.
No, no worries. Um, Sorry, Tommy was just shouting out that apparently they're making a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I didn't realize that. That's crazy, Tommy.
Yeah, well, I think it could work well. I'm
Yeah,
not a
I'm
fan
trying
of
to
it personally, but I'm sure they could make a good slasher movie out of it.
like. It's been a while since I played that game, but yeah, like I guess yeah, the general concept would work. Cause I mean, like I'm kind of picturing like Blair Witch style, like I guess like it'd just be like a person on their camcorder going through
Yep.
it. Cheyenne's like that sounds like a good movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, in some way, this game has been made to refer to those movies that already exist, right? Those sort of horror slasher films.
Very true. Yeah.
So
Nice. So
unless
you
they do on purpose, I don't think they can fuck it up.
That's true. There's been some pretty good hype lately with video game movies.
Well, I mean, since The Last of Us succeed, I mean, er- maybe
Oh
the
yeah,
curse
that
has
one.
been broken. You know?
Maybe, yeah. That one, the Super Mario movie, that one did pretty good
Oh,
too.
that's true. I haven't watched it, but I've only heard good things about it.
Yeah, same here. I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about it. It's funny too that you mentioned The Last of Us because on Twitter, one of the guys I was following, I guess he's been watching it lately. It's just like watching that hype build up as he's going through each episode. I'm like, yeah, I totally remember yourself like talking about them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in general, it was pretty good. As far as video game adaptation goes, it's probably the best example out there. Even though it's not perfect, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, pretty darn close to it. Um, what's that? They actually have been in a movie like Five Nights at Freddy's.
What?
Oh, okay. No, I was reading Tommy's comment here. There's actually been a movie like Five Nights at Freddy's. I guess Nicolas Cage was in it. He
Oh
said, but
yes,
it
I've heard of
flopped.
that. Yeah.
Come on now, Tommy. Nicolas Cage never flops. um,
Well,
I was trying to.
actually, I've seen the his movie. You know the one with Pedro Pascal, where the unbearable weight of unfathomable talent, I think, or something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That's a really good movie. Extremely
yeah.
good movie. I would highly recommend it.
Like I know Nicolas Cage gets picked on like a lot, right? But he does have a lot of good movies out there. Like they're not
Oh, for
all
sure.
just
He
they're
just
not
says
just all
yes
money
to
schemes.
everything. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that he's a bad actor. But
um,
oh, actually, you were talking about movies. I think my film of the year that I saw today. I don't know if I talked it on the podcast, but it's. Did I talk about Babylon last time or not?
no, no, you didn't.
It's really. It's my film of the year. It's a really good movie about
Wow.
the transition between silent films to into colors and the culture and how it changed everything. And it's not like it was advertised. It was advertised as this, almost party movie, a bit like Hangover, but in the film industry. But it's not that at all. And I thought it was one of the best films I've seen. So
That's so true, yeah, because I do remember the advertisements for it. That's the way I took it was going to be too. Wow, okay, so it's different than that.
oh, for sure. I mean, the characters that you follow are party people. They're crazy people, and because of the environment they came from, and and that's the whole thing, really. When the whole industry changes, and you see these characters trying to go through these changes, and super interesting stuff. Wild movie. You'll never know where it's going. So I
Nice.
highly
Okay.
recommend it.
Yeah, I'll have to see that one then afterwards.
It's super long though,
I've.
so
Oh, that's okay. I don't mind long movies.
cool.
Um, I actually get mad if the movie's not like at least 2 hours long. I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna sit down and you're gonna invest in a movie, like it has to be a decent amount of length.
Oh, for
Uh,
sure. I don't mind long movies, but I know that some people do, so I mention it.
oh yeah, no, yeah. Cheyenne's definitely that way. Like every time we try to watch Lord of the Rings, we basically never make it through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Um, I was gonna say, oh yeah, Tommy, I'm gonna go over what our topic is, and if you have any shout outs too, you're more than welcome to. I kind of shouted out yours, JW, but it's totally cool. You can go back and say your points again because I'm sure you'll explain them a lot better than what I was. um, but to give a little bit of a refresher here, because I pulled up the list, we were going to talk about the games that came out in 2013. And basically, if you had a fresh take right now on them and you could shout out what your game of the year would have been, would have changed. So, maybe back in 2013, Grand Theft Auto 5 was your game of the year, or actually one game of the year. But, 10 years later, you think about the other ones that came out and, maybe that opinion has changed. Like, yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5 was great, but hey, The Last of Us was a hell of a lot better in the long run. Um, so to give you an idea, because I was looking up, I'm not going to read them all out, but I'll read out some of the big bangers on here. So yes, there was Grand Theft Auto 5 that came out that year. There was The Last of Us. There was the reboot for Tomb Raider, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Batman Arkham Origins, Outlast, Bioshock Infinite, um, The Wolf Among Us, Saints Row 4, um, Call of Duty Ghosts, which I don't think it'll be anybody's. Um, God of War Ascension. I think that was the PSP. Okay, I was
Yep.
trying to think. I was like, what the hell was that one? Devil May Cry reboot came out that year too. I was surprised.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I remember that.
Alien, Aliens, Colonial Marines, um, Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon. I was surprised Rust and DayZ and Dota 2 were listed. I'm Wow, I didn't think they came out in 2013, but um, Dead Space 3 came out that year. The Star Trek video game for the movie. What else do we got? Dead Rising 3 was another Rayman Legends. Oh, Warframe. A lot of the like big games. Like I'm surprised that DayZ, Warframe, and what was there? I said there, Dota 2 and Rust all came out that same year. Like that was kind of big for that style of gameplay, like online. I think that was pretty much it for the big bangers. Oh, Super Mario 3D World came out. Sly Cooper number 4 who was at Thieves in Time. That one finally came out. And Crisis 3 was the other one. Like the other ones were like they were still big games, but they weren't as big as the titles I mentioned. Oh, Brother, A Tale of Two Sons that also came out. But yeah, anyway, so just to give you guys an idea of what was out, it'd just be kind of cool. Oh, a Stanley Parable. Sorry, that was the other big shout. That came out in 2013. But yeah, just like, what do you guys think of those games? Or would you change your opinion now based on what you
Well,
did back then?
I wouldn't change my opinion on the MC Devil May Cry. That was sad when I played it. It's still sad today.
Cause that's what I was thinking about too. Yeah, because I was like, I wonder if games came out then that were like crap, but maybe they had like a No Man's Sky moment where, like, 10 years later, they're actually a lot more fun now. They've been fixed up and everything.
Well, I will say this about the MC Devil May Cry. I mean, there's nothing to change. You can't change the story and characters they did. It's horrible, and it's their take on it.
Yeah,
So, guess fine if someone likes it, but I've really hated that iteration. But beside that, gameplay-wise, when it first came out, um, you you couldn't there were color coded enemies. That's where it comes from that game where you needed, let's say, the heavy red axe weapon for the red enemies and the quick blue blade weapon for the blue enemies. And if you didn't hit with the right color, you would bounce back and it wouldn't do any damage, like if there was a shield. So what does that
oh,
mean?
okay.
It means in a combo heavy gameplay game, you can't combo because you keep bouncing back if you do the wrong weapon. So, because they mix, right, the red and blue together, it's not just one after the other.
Yeah,
So it's horrible. I find it's a horrible choice in terms of game design in a combo heavy game where you can't combo because of color, or you can't choose the weapon you want because of color. So that was
yeah. It doesn't
horrible.
even seem like why? Like literally, like why would they choose that method? That's so stupid.
Well, I think they wanted to have an interesting challenge, but it's
There's
ended up
yeah,
not being
there's
fun.
exactly like, there's challenge and then there's just like asking for too much from someone. Like that's kind of what I'm like experiencing in that game I was telling you about, Chrysalis.
Yep.
You get same idea, right? You get 4 different swords, sword of fire, wind, ice, blah blah, and each one affects different enemies. And in the beginning, it's cool because it's like, okay, like this guy can take fire damage, this guy can take wind damage. But then after a while, there's just so many bad guys in the same dungeon that like you're literally swapping out swords as fast as you can because you have to hit this one with the green sword, this one with the fire sword. You know, it's just I don't know, it gets stupid. It just gets so stupid. Half the
Yeah.
time, just like running by the enemies, so like I don't even want to put up with this fight. Like it's dumb.
So if you for DMC the only card, if you play it today, the definitive edition of it or HD, whatever version is the latest version of DMC the May Cry, they've taken that out where it bounces back now, it hits, but it doesn't make a lot of damage compared to if you had the right weapon. So that's a good thing. I'll give it to them
Yeah, that's a
where
good step forward.
yeah. But still, I mean, there's still uh, there's still many problems with how it was written and everything compared to before. Compared to before where it was super campy, stylish, and fun. Now it's this sort of emo, uh, serious, but and super edgy for no reason type of thing. I don't know. It's like if they redid the same. It's like if they took the previous series and then sucked all the comedy charm out of it and then
I
put
was
a
gonna say
black coat over it.
that's kind of like what was it Jonesy was always talking about on the Super Show about oh my god, what's that game now? It's gonna sink my mind. Prince of Persia, because they kind of did the same thing, right? It was one of the games there where they made them all emo and sad.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, they completely changed the character's dynamic.
And there's all sorts of the other thing with the problem with DMC Devil May Cry is that when you hit something, it doesn't feel right. The impacts are not there compared to the other games I find with the weapons. It feels like I'm hitting through
Oh,
butter and not like I'm stabbing something. So that's another problem. So and anyway, there's a bunch of it. But to get
yeah.
back to the question at hand,
I
I
say
think.
Tommy agrees with you too. By the way, he said he likes the original Devil May Cries a lot better than the reboot.
Well, I mean, who doesn't really? I don't know anybody that has liked it. So. And and the proof is they haven't continued in that direction, which is good. Compared to let's say Star Wars, where they've failed, failed one after the other, and they just continue failing
Yeah,
in the
just keep
same
that train
direction.
going.
But to get back to the question at hand, I remember in 2013, my game of the year would probably have been the Arkham Origin one, where I
Wow.
I thought it was a lot of people hated it, but I remember liking it a lot for some reason. Really digging the visuals and the scenario of Batman that has to get these criminals during the game, and it was smaller scale, but it was pretty cool still. But looking back today, it probably wouldn't be my game of the year because there's just so many Batman games now that do the same. um,
Yeah, right. It doesn't really stand out as much as it did back in 2013.
yeah, well, now it's a bit played out, right? Because uh, Assassin's Creed and Batman uses similar mechanics in those days. Now Assassin's Creed is different, but they used to be similar in the sense of you have a counter button, you have a one attack button, and all that.
Yeah,
So like previously said, I would cheat, I think, and say Deus Ex Human Revolution, the director's cut,
oh
because
yeah, no, it's 2013. It did come out. You're right, so that totally counts.
yeah, well, the original game came out in 2011, but the better version came out 2013, so I'll count it. It's one of my favorite games ever, so eh, that would probably be my game of the year because the director's cut can only add stuff to help you better understand the story and fill in some gaps that the main game had towards the end. Because I think the end was rushed when they first released that game. But also they fixes the bosses in the game. Because, like I said, the game was rushed, so they outsourced the bosses to another company, and it was a bit of a mess.
Oh,
All the bosses were like, "You are this square room, this boss, and you have to fight him head on, and that's it. That's all. There are stuff lying around. It might or may not be enough for you to kill them." So the
that's really dumb. Wow.
yeah, and for some reason, Eidos wasn't aware of how shit the bosses were.
Yeah.
So the director's cut fixes that. The director's cut, the devs at Eidos redid them, fixed everything. You can now tackle them in many different ways. So it helps for the people that want to be, let's say, more discreet or a pacifist route or all of those choices that they're supposed to have in a Deus Ex game. And so that's a big thing. There's all sorts of better stuff like that that is much cooler. Like there's not a better version to play it than the director's cut.
As I said, just I was looking too because I thought there was another one that came out. Interesting enough, there was Deus Ex The Fall that came out too in
That was shit.
2013. Was it okay? I was gonna ask you. I was like, how was that one? Then okay, so that one was shit.
I totally forgot it existed. Then you named it, and then I had flash images flashing in my head like PTSD.
Oh shit. Um, I'll just show Tommy's here too. Tommy said that he really enjoyed Grand Theft Auto 5. He thought that was the best of the time. Um, but he would say one of his best games was Dragon Quest 11 or Fallout 4. So those ones I don't think came out in 2013 though, Tommy. But I mean, yeah, it's totally okay. You can shout them out. But I'll take the Grand Theft Auto 5.
What about you,
Um,
Mindful?
Yeah, I was looking at the list, and like the funny part is like I did play a lot of these, but not in 2013. Definitely not at all. Um, I don't know when I look through the list though. In all honesty, like even though I haven't played it, I'm just gonna say based on like people's opinions, things I've heard, streamers I've watched, etc., etc. I still think Last of Us deserves it. Like when I look at this list, I think they definitely stood out in 2013. Some of the points I was saying earlier is that when you look at the list, right, a lot of these are just sequels and like Grand Theft Auto 5, Assassin's Creed 4, right, like Bioshock Infinite. That's number 3 on the list. Um, yeah, just a lot of these are just like sequels and stuff like that. So they've kind of made their mark. They kind of, like even like the reboots like Tomb Raider and stuff like that. You kind of I don't know, you know what to expect. Like, there wasn't anything like new or original content. Where I think The Last of Us like I said, just based on what I watched, I haven't played it personally, so it might be different when you're playing it. But watching other streamers play it, and hearing like yourself and others have talked about it before, it seemed like it really stood out story wise, gameplay, all that. um yeah, because I mean you have Outlast, which was another new game that year, but I wouldn't put those two in the same bracket. I don't think Outlast
Well, you
could be
see,
good.
Last of Us would have been probably something if I would have played it the year it came out, would probably have been like my game of the year. But playing it like again before playing Last of Us 2 sort of made me realize that um, I don't know, today it wouldn't be my game of the year, I think, because um, like the story is very very well written, but the gameplay itself is um, by the numbers a bit, right? Where you have your stealth moments, you have your more action moments, by the numbers of what you expect from a third person shooter.
Yeah, see, that's what I said. Because watching like streamers play and stuff like that, right? It's a different experience. Because I'm more enjoying the story and the gameplay, but actually physically playing it, yeah, it could be a totally different experience.
Because I played for the first time Last of Us when I had my PS4. Because before that I had a Xbox 360. So I came in much later after the hype and uh, e- explosion of critics and all that. And
Yeah.
so, and yeah, I thought it was great. But when I replayed it, like I replayed it 2, 3 times that game, I think, and I sort of realized there's actually every time there's a lot of bits that I don't remember, and it's because when I play them, I'm not thrilled with it. You know, for example, you know the puzzle with the puzzle with the there's a bunch of puzzles used with the environments on water with uh, big things of wood to make Ellie move around and stuff. You know, there are moments
Oh,
where
yeah.
y I forget about them, then I replay them and I'm like, oh yeah, that thing, and then it's not fun. And there's more moments I think like that people remember that they don't remember. I mean,
It's so true though, right? Like, I mean, even like with some of your favorite games, like nostalgia, stuff like that, right, from games of the past. You remember like those parts that were so exciting, and then yeah, and then like you actually play the game. It's like, oh yeah, there was a shit part for about 30 minutes that I still have to do before I get to the good part.
yeah, yeah. Well, I like doing that with games, films, or whatever. I'm
Oh, me too.
replaying them and doing on purpose to not get involved with the nostalgia of it, just to see if it's as good, if it holds up, or if it was just when I was younger. I like to compare with my mind of today compared to before. If I still think the same.
Yeah, I mean, like the one I always think of right away is Ocarina of Time. Like, yes, there are some excellent moments, but there are also some freaking shit moments that you're just gonna get sick of.
Yeah. Well, I,
Um,
I also think Ocarina of Time. There weren't a lot of games like it when it came out. It came out. I don't think there were any games
yeah,
like it,
no, no,
and I
God, no.
think that helped it a lot compared to if you play it today.
Um, Tommy says, yeah, Ellie was always slowing you down with her joke book.
Yeah,
um, hey, Gaming with Django.
and I think
Um,
what helps The Last of Us as well is the ending of that first game is so powerful that you sort of forget the rest of the game. And I always
so
forget
true.
all. I always remember the end and a specific part in the middle. Otherwise, it's always sort of foggy. That first game for me, I don't remember much except some big story beats. And when every time I play it again, I remember why. Because sure, it's good, it's well made, but there's a lot and a lot and a lot of corridors with enemies or crouching around stuff. There's a lot of them, and I think your mind sort of erase it that there are so many of them.
Well, I remember before. I think it's when you were first watching the Last of Us show. Um, I was asking you about it, right? Because I was just starting to kind of watch people play it, and like before that, I just heard a lot of talk all the time. And I don't know if you remember the conversation or not, but basically, I was asking you, was there any big story moments other than the ending that you could shout out or remember? And yeah, you kind of had that same response, like no, like really, it's just the ending. The ending was the big moment. Um, which is funny, right? Like, I mean, it's always hyped up and all this other stuff, but yeah, like it's literally just the ending. That's the big exciting chapter of the whole story.
Yeah, and of course, without the whole thing before that helps make the ending. Otherwise, just the ending alone is not enough, right? But
Yeah,
it's really that conclusion that it's that Luke, I'm your father moment, right? Of
exactly.
Because if you think of Empire Strikes Back, except the moment, again, the most powerful moment of that movie is the end. and the rest you sort of remember beats of it, but you don't fully remember the movie because there's a lot of battles and nothing more really.
Um, Tommy was just saying, I don't know if you tried it on this mode or not, but the hardest difficulty was definitely a challenge. He said on the Last of Us game.
Oh, for yeah, for sure. Well, I've I did not complete it, but I've done it with the second game, the grounded mode, where everything is where when you die you restart a chapter or game or whatever
Oh,
setting you
that's
put in.
brutal.
Yeah, and you don't have HUD, and you die in one shot, and all the hardest things.
Oh, did you actually beat it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I
Um,
was like, holy.
I'm really annoyed actually that I've never even on the grounded mode, but it's super. It's fun to try every now and then. Every now and then, I'll take out the game and try the part where I'm stuck at, but I've never been able to. And I think maybe it's because I'm fucked, because I'm low life, and it saved low life. So,
Oh shit, yeah.
so I would need to not
Those
get hit once, I guess. But I don't
those
have
are
that time
ridiculous
anymore,
though.
so.
Yeah, I said, like I sometimes I look at those achievements too, where it's like, beat the game in like 3 deaths or less. It's like, no, I don't have the patience for that. There's no way I'll be able to do it.
But yeah, no, gameplay wise, I've had more fun with The Last of Us 2 than the first one for sure.
3M, we're just talking about games that came out in 2013. And now if you're to relook at them again, what would be your game of the year? Would you still feel, for example, like The Last of Us is still worthy of being game of the year, or would it change to Grand Theft Auto 5? Or I have a list of games anyway if you need help seeing which ones are available. And then Tommy just shouted out Dead Space 2 on the hardest difficulty was ridiculous. Only 3 saves allowed. Wow.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's even worse when they
Yeah.
limit your saves. Oh
Oh
shit.
yeah.
Um no, but I there was a Dead Space game that did come out in 2013, Tommy. I don't think it was
The
that
third
one.
one.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was number 3 that came out.
The bad one.
The bad one. Yeah. That was all the microtransactions, right? That one?
Oh yeah, for sure. That in the
Yeah.
co-op.
Um Yeah, I still want to try Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I will say though, Tomb Raider. I feel like that one has had an opinion change. Now as the time's gone on, I found a lot of people are more positive towards that one. When it first came out, it didn't really get a big review. But then when you look at the games that came out that year, like I could see why a lot of games took a while to get their moment to shine. Like there were some
Where
pretty big
are
heavy
people
hitters.
more positive now about it?
I
Because
well, I
I'm
guess
not.
my circle of people I know, most of them seem to have a little different opinion now on Tomb Raider. You still didn't enjoy it though.
It's not a. It's more again. It's the DMC Devil May Cry thing all over again, where they've taken this campy, super fun character, and for some reason they've given it this dark uh, reimagining and just sucked all the fun out of it. You, it used to be your cheeky treasure hunter, right? So you did all sorts of cool moves as you shot your double pistols and all that, and it was fun. It was had great dialogue, and it, it, it was super cool to play these games at the time. Um, so when they did the remake, they made it all serious, all how she's more of a survivalist and not this cheeky treasure hunter. Now she's blames her constantly blames herself and whining and
I get that.
all
Yeah,
that.
if you're used to an established character and like you said, just the way it's the game's originally run. Um, yeah,
But
it's good.
but yeah, no, I mean, as far as remakes go, it's not a bad remake gameplay wise. Game design wise, it works, but
Yeah, you just
it's
enjoy
Last
the
of
older
Us.
ones.
Well, it's Last of Us gameplay style of you have your sneak moments where you can one shot or it becomes actiony. So now you take out your bow or gun and shoot the place up, gather the resources on the ground and move on. Right?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I was trying to think what was that one. Um, no, it's not Ratchet and Clank. I think it's Jack and Dexter. They did that one. The first one was more cartoonish, and then the second one got really like serious, more
I've
adult
actually
like.
replayed those
Did you?
last year or the year before. I can't remember. Anyway, but you know, what a weird change. But it's because that first Jack and Dexter almost felt like it was supposed to be on Nintendo 64 in terms of
Right?
its color palettes, its the way that the graphics were designed, the weird choices of jumping and sprinting and all that. And there were even parts that made me remember the certain stages in Conquer Bad Fur Day for some reason. But
Yeah.
and then when it jumps to the Jack and Dexter 2, they have this super wild time travel story and and totalitarian uh, a government oppressing people and completely different,
So
which
different.
which for me made it super interesting. And then the third one was more about the gods of the Eos or whatever it was called. And I know each of the games explored all sorts of weird, interesting stuff. But the third one was much more like the second one, so but with less um, with less cool car races and all that. So third one was a bit worse than the second one. Second one is super. There's super frustrating moments, but in general, it's a cool game.
I agree. Yeah, I really like those ones. I don't know, like when think of like the PlayStation 2, it's like it's all those titles, right? Like Jack and Dexter, Sly Cooper, like I was saying earlier, that one was really great. Ratchet and Clank, like I don't know, I had such a blast. Like I really miss playing
Oh,
all
for
those.
sure.
They were just I don't know, they were really good. And it's not nostalgia because I have gone back and played them again, and it's still really enjoy, especially Sly Cooper. I really like Sly Cooper. I'm surprised that one
Yeah,
hasn't had a new
same.
game.
Same. I've played all of those ones, and yeah, no, they're great. I find
Yeah.
though the if we compare the um I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the word, the Lombax game, the Ratchet and Clank games. The
Oh,
more
okay.
recent ones um have really simplistic puzzles compared to the older ones. Like puzzles
Yeah.
aren't puzzles anymore for some reason. They're just put this on on the put the cube on the button and there you go. There's your puzzle.
Oh, it's like night and day. I remember I had I think the PlayStation 3 there when I owned it for a little bit. I did have yeah, a Ratchet and Clank game. And yeah, you're right. Like I was zooming through it. I was like, wow, this either I've gotten really good at these games or they've downgraded this a little bit.
Oh no, they have, yeah. And that goes for every game I find these days. They're like, oh, we have puzzles, but then it's just like the Korok seeds in Ocarina, where you just put a cube somewhere. And, oh, the puzzle is done. Wow, you're so good.
I know, right? Or after a while, if you don't touch it, it starts like something will flash around you, like, hey, maybe you should move this.
Hogwarts Legacy had a couple of good puzzles, I have to say, and some key moments. But yeah, no, that's something I misses. I have to say.
Me too. I said I kind of miss I don't know. Maybe it's because we have Google now too. Like I kind of miss the thrill of the game, like just trying to figure it out on your own and coming across that moment where you're like, oh shit, wow, was this all along?
Oh yeah, and my fiance always makes fun of me for having this notebook where sometimes when I have a puzzle, I write down stuff on it while I play the game. I still don't look at Google if I can help it.
No, that's a great, yeah, it's a great system because you used to do that back in the day, right? In your instruction books, you'd even have those additional few pages in the back to just send notes, and you could write your stuff down in there.
Yeah.
Tommy just wanted to shout out a couple things here. So he said, Jack and Dexter series is awesome. I think I got all the platinum trophies in them. Way to go, buddy. And, Ratchet and Clank had a hidden area only playable at 12 at night. Easter egg because the company's name is Insomniac. Oh, that's pretty clever.
Oh wow,
That's pretty
really?
cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's cool, Tommy. And then 3M, I can't remember if we may have had this question before a long time ago, but we'll gladly answer it again, 3M. He was just curious if you could live in any video game world, which video game world would you want to live in?
Um, None. Uh,
No,
they all have their problems.
I know. I think when we first asked this one, I was taking my time with it because I was trying to think of like the safest video game world you could possibly live in.
I mean, the safest one would probably be something like Stardew Valley, but I don't want to
Yep.
farm. So no.
Should never have to worry about getting killed.
No, I'm trying to think of something, but I don't think there's anything really.
Like I know I wouldn't survive, but in all honesty, I do think Fallout would be a lot of fun to live in. Like fun as in like this is really different. Like it's just I don't know, that whole world seems just neat, you know what I mean? Like it'd be kind of cool like just basically rebuilding society from the ground up. No more office jobs, no more stuff like that. Like it's just fight for survival.
Yeah, a lot
And
of
just
people like these survival settings. It's quite
yeah,
popular.
I don't know. Like I said, I know I wouldn't survive. I definitely would be someone that got like wiped out by the atom bomb or either beaten up by a super mutant, but it'd still be kind of cool to live there. Tommy said Genshin Impact because he wants live in an anime wet dream.
Mm.
Oh, Tommy.
It's a good choice as any, unless you get killed by those monsters.
Exactly. Or in anywhere Mario lives to get the one up mushrooms. There you go. Just keep surviving.
Yeah, that's a pretty good choice in Mario. Because yeah,
3M. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say because yeah, there are enemies, but they're just turtles.
Someone had this. I can't remember what channel I was watching, but they had this really funny theory with it. Um,
Game
what was
theory.
it? But yeah, no, it wasn't game theory. It was just these two like dudes that were talking, but they were basically like laughing and joking around, saying like how Koopa's army is just basically like a bunch of undead people, and then they were going through all the types, right, and saying like what they all turn into. Um, like oh god, I know they use dry bones as an example. I think Boo was supposed to be what the Goobas were once they were killed. That's apparently what they turned into. And basically, it was just this whole like childhood destroying thing, where it's just like everyone's dead and they're all like just an undead army, and Bowser like owns them all. I don't know. I love when people do dumb shit like that. Or you could say in the village. Oh, for Mario, yeah, you could do that too, 3M. But I was gonna read out to you 3M if you wanted to pick two, because I know it's kind of hard to figure out what was out in 2013. Again, another good reason to join the Discord because you can see the list. But so we already said Grand Theft Auto 5 was one of The Last of Us, the Tomb Raider reboot, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Batman Arkham Origins, Outlast, Bioshock Infinite, Beyond Two Souls, Metro Last Light, The Wolf Among Us, ooh, Injustice Gods Among Us. I forgot about that one.
Oh
Saints
yeah,
Row 4. Yeah, that was a good game actually. I like the
yeah.
Injustice series. Walking Dead season 2, if you like that. Payday 2 also came out. Oh yeah, the Deadpool game did as well. Devil May Cry that we were kind of talking about. The Stanley Parable, which I haven't played yet, but I really want to. Just because of how different that game is. Rust came out, Dead Island, Riptide. Oh, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. I didn't realize that one came
Oh,
out that
that's
year.
another good one actually. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not into. I didn't like the story or anything. It's just insane. But the gameplay itself is quite good.
The gameplay was cool, right? Yeah, I like that one. Oh, A Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds came out. Dead Space 3. Splinter Cell Blacklist.
Yeah, uh, it's not great.
Dead Rising 3. Like I said, it was like literally the year of sequels. Daisy.
One thing I'll say about Splinter Cell Blacklist though is that they had good and interesting AIs in that game. Um, and that's the only redeeming thing I think I could say about it because they used a different kind of way for their cone of vision and how they programmed it. Basically, when there are enemies, there's this cone of vision that they can't see, and it's usually a sort of triangle of if you're in that zone, they will see slowly turn towards you and to give you the time to get out of it. And what the Splinter Cell did, they instead of a cone, they did a sort of coffin-like thing, so to give them peripheral vision, from the side. So
Oh,
if
okay.
you would move close to that vision, they would sort of turn around and it made it much harder. They would act more like if you pass quickly in front of them, of course depending on the difficulty. um they would spot you more like a human guard would, or if they saw something from the corner of their eyes, right?
Oh, okay, I get you.
So that's an interesting tip of that game, but otherwise it's not very good.
They were asking. I don't think. Oh, you're all right, Tommy. There was a Hitman game, Hitman Absolution. That
Oh
came out in
yeah.
2013. I'm surprised. Wow, that wasn't even listed on there. At least in the top 200, it wasn't listed.
Because a lot of people didn't like it because it was more of a single player linear game than the other games. It's
Um.
basically like if you turn Grand Theft Auto into a not open world game.
Oh, you know what's sad? I haven't played a Hitman game yet. I really want to. Especially what was it? I think it was okay. No, they have like three now, right? That came out. That was it. The reboot that was done, like
Um,
the
yeah,
like
you
the new
mean
Hitman series. Yeah, like that
yeah,
one. I
yeah.
guess I'd want to start with. Cause I don't know. That one seems to get a lot of hype, and everyone says it's pretty good.
Well, I mean, it depends. I would say it depends what type of player you are, right? It gets a lot of attention because it's the perfect game s- for streaming, let's say, or for
Oh, okay.
showcasing stuff without being completely concentrated in the game, because there's a bunch of stuff you can do. So if you like to experiment with just features in a level, then the game is for you.
Yeah, cause
But the AI, don't expect a challenge. The AI is pretty dumb.
yeah, I was gonna say I've watched a few people and I've seen them like do different challenge modes, I guess. And yeah, most of them say that they have like the exact same like walkthrough all the time. Like this guard's gonna go from point A to point B, and he's gonna do a few different things along the way, but it's always the same routine.
It's not only about the routine, it's about how they react, how they you know don't react, or all that.
Yeah. Oh, what was he saying?
That's
There was
that's
something to do
actually
with
a
like
pet
the.
peeve of mine from modern games. I think I would say in general, I find the AIs is often quite dumb. I wish they
Yeah,
would
well,
program better AIs.
because I think in one part they were talking about like there was something to do with the bullet fire. So, for example, I think he said if you fire the bullet three times or like three shots, I guess, at this one guard, the guard will go into like a panic, and just like kind of look everywhere, and it gives you like a split second to like run across and do whatever you have to do because the AI is all confused. You're like, where are the shots coming from? And then if you fired it like twice, it would react this way. If you fired the bullet once, it would react this way. So I mean, I kind of hate that. I hate that it's like really predictable. Um, like
Yeah,
I know a lot of newer games choose that method, which kind of sucks. I like the old school, like where you fired a shot and they just like, okay, it came from the left hand side. We're gonna go and check that out.
yeah, like a normal person, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And then 3M, he just shouted out Grand Theft Auto 5 is his choice. So that seems to be the majority. Everyone's just still
Oh
with
yeah,
Grand
for
Theft
sure.
Auto
I
5.
remember when that game came out. Everybody was lost their minds. Really, like I remember half the school was missing because of that game. I was
Wow.
in high school when it came out.
I mean, it is true though, right? Like a decade later, we still haven't got number six. So, I mean, I do get you. It probably is a good game of the year contender, even 10 years later.
Well, I mean, it's not my thing. I mean, the data speaks for itself.
Yeah. No, I've agreed with you. Like, I mean, I have played a little bit of Grand Theft Auto 5, but I haven't finished it. I'm more interested in the story just because of like how hyped up those three characters always seem to get. Like obviously over 10 years, right? I've heard a lot of information about all of them and I've seen bits and parts and I've got to play bits and parts of them. But yeah, just the characters seem really interesting. That's pretty much the only reason why I'd want to pick up Grand Theft Auto 5 and try it.
Yeah,
And then 3M's choice for a world to live in was he'd like to live in Forza, the crew games. You'll be living your dream and living the fast life.
that's a
That's
really
true.
good choice. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's true. You could pick sports games as
Can you
well.
die in Forza?
I don't think so.
You can just lose, so that's pretty good. A pretty good choice.
Yeah, yeah. Hello, Game of Django. Hello, Z Chick. Yes, it's live. You guys are more than welcome to join on too if you want to, or you can go through the chat method, whichever you prefer. Yes, yes, Z Chick. It is live. This is me and JW currently. Um, you can, yeah, you can crash your car then.
But does it crash your car, or do you die in the crash?
Yeah, 3M. Do you die in the crash, or is it just like your car is just totaled? 'Cause that's a big factor. Did you like Outlast at all, JW?
Um, yes, I know. I mean, it's well made. It's just it came out at a time where every horror games were doing the same thing. Since Amnesia, every horror game had to be this first-person shooter with, well, without the shooting, this first-person, no weapon, with a way of lighting, whether it's a flashlight, a lantern, uh, in this case, a camera, night vision. Um, so it's well made, and I'm sure if it would have came out before, I would have liked it. But it came out at a time where I was sort of saturated by this whole horror trend. So when I tried it, I was a bit dismissive of it.
Because yeah, I was curious how you feel about those ones. Because like me, I do like a horror game, um, but I don't like the ones where I can't attack back. I don't know what it is. I just really struggle with those ones. Like I said, like Resident Evil 7, like I like the whole idea of it. I really wanted to really enjoy that game, but I think I only got I don't even know, like a couple hours into it, and I was like, okay, I'm done.
Well, you see,
I can't.
I like them when there's a lot of content around it. So what it means is, in Amnesia, there were a lot of really good puzzles, and that was really the crux of what made the game work. You had to balance your stressing over getting attacked while doing these somewhat good, really good puzzles. But then you had a bunch of games that were trying to do like Amnesia, but didn't have any puzzles. It's just walking in a corridor, or didn't have anything good because it's cheaply made, or so a bunch. I think a lot of people tried to do what Amnesia does, but not a lot of people did as good as Amnesia did. So if I can't attack, and there needs to be somewhat of a something that keeps me going, and these puzzles or the story or the universe is a way of going through. But I agree with you. I've become tired of this, and I don't like it anymore. It just pisses me off now.
Yeah, like I did play Outlast as well. But I think I ended up getting stuck when I went to the basement level, and it was only because like you had to like navigate in the dark through this little tunnel area. And I'm sure there was some place I was supposed to go to. I just didn't notice. But like this arsehole was chasing you from behind, right? And like he was only like a couple steps behind you.
Yeah,
And like it was dumb too because like you had to hop over a fence and like hop over this thing. It's like, come on, like it's bad enough I'm running in the dark house with to hop over stuff and like I got someone chasing me. I can't really pay attention to the things around me and like I get it. You circle around enough times, you're gonna get the layout. But like you just said perfectly, right? Like I don't have time for that anymore. Like I just want to play a game.
but yeah, well, it's because I don't think, like I said, I think it's been that um, particular way of designing a game has been overused, especially in horror games, and it has spawned as well the walking simulators because of it. But
Oh yeah, like if
and
Alien
so
Isolation came out now, it wouldn't probably hit as hard as it did back in the day.
yeah, exactly. Alien Isolation is another really good one, uh, with where you can't attack the enemies. But there's not a lot of games I would say that I liked where it has that feature. It needs to be really strong in every other aspect. Otherwise, it falls flat for me.
Um, I think that was most of the ones. Did you ever play the Telltale games actually, like The Wolf Among Us and The Walking Dead?
I played the Walking Dead one a couple of episodes, but I got bored with it. It's not my thing.
Yeah, okay. I was curious if you liked those games. I don't mind them. The Walking Dead I enjoyed a lot, just like story wise. But like I don't know when I play those games, in my head, right, I have to tell myself like this isn't really a game. I'm just playing a story, a very interactive story.
Yeah, yeah, pretty
And I
much.
just yeah, I just kind of focus on that one.
But yeah, no, that
Oh
Walking Dead one was really well written. And then the other ones, I tried another one. I can't remember which one, but it wasn't well written. And then I just abandoned that genre altogether.
Oh yeah, like I think when I got to was it New Frontiers, I liked it, but comparing it to like you just said the first and the second Walking Dead, it wasn't the same story wise. It was kind of I don't know. At that point, it was like rinse repeat. Like you kind of knew it was gonna happen. Main
Yeah,
characters are gonna come in, main characters are gonna die. You're gonna feel something, and it's gonna carry on to the end. Oh, 3M was asking our opinions on Darksiders. I haven't played that series
oh,
yet,
I
but I would
love
like to.
Darksiders.
Yeah, because I say that's literally what I always hear. Is that it's my
Well,
favorite one. I love it.
I love the first two ones. The third one was good, was okay. Uh, yeah, between good and okay, I would say depends which part of the game. But the
Are they
first,
like are Darksiders like RPG games or like that's the only thing I was always confused by? Are they like an action RPG or are they just like just normal action games? Like
well, here's the thing: every game they've made radical changes. So the first
oh
one you play War, it's a bit like um Zelda-esque, but with Devil May Cry-esque as well, with all sorts of combos you can use and weapons and all that. And then there's the second one where you play Death, where that becomes more of an RPG where you have all sorts of gears that you find, weapons and all that with better stats and stuff that it does and all that. And even the story is
okay.
quite different. Well, different, I mean. Yeah, you play a whole new character in a whole new setting compared to the first one. So big radical changes.
And then
And
who's
then
on the
there's
third one then?
the third one is Fury, if I remember correctly, and she has this sort of whip weapon, and it was more like a bit of a Souls like.
Okay. That's kind of cool. I didn't realize it was a different game in each sequel. Wow.
Yeah, and each like continue part of the story. Well, the second one occurs in different timelines almost all over during this. Like the first and second one occurs around the same time, but just not at the same place. Third one
Oh.
is after, I think, but I don't remember much of the third one to be honest, so that's how good it is.
Okay. Um, 3M. I don't know what part it is 3M, but the reason you brought up is saying that he was stuck on a level on the first one. Do you know what part you were stuck on 3M? Are you able to elaborate? Um,
I wouldn't be surprised. There are particular moments where sometimes it gets confusing.
like the first couple ones, I guess. Like Darksiders 1 and 2 were difficult compared to the third one.
First one for
First
sure
one,
was
okay.
was harder than the other two. And the thing with the first one, like I said, it's a bit like Zelda. So you had like multiple dungeons that you would go to. There were puzzles to do with your sword and your fist and all that. So
That's good because I think I seen that one too. Like at the game store I usually go to. I'm pretty sure I always see Darksiders 1 for like 20 or something dollars, like the 360 version. So yeah, I mean I'll pick that up
yeah,
then. I'll actually
because when
try
it
out.
came out, it didn't do good for some reason. I don't know why, but nobody bought it. And then slowly but surely it gained a cult following, and now today everybody loves or pretends to love Darksiders.
So true. I feel like most of the time, in all honesty, it's just bad timing, right? Like sometimes a good game like that just gets thrown to the wayside because all these big AAA games came out,
Oh,
either
for
the
sure.
same month. Yeah, that's I
Well,
don't know.
there's
It's kind
that,
of
but
shitty.
there's also the people doing this. THQ went bankrupt after the second one, I think, or
Oh
during
shit!
the second one, something like that. So that didn't help as well.
I was always wondering what happened to them because they used to make like freaking awesome wrestling games back in the day. Yeah, and I never really heard THQ mentioned much anymore.
Well, now they are THQ Nordic, I think. It's not
Yeah,
the
right. They
same
teamed up.
THQ, but a lot of their assets were dispersed to different companies. For example, Dawn of War, I think, used to be THQ, the Dawn of War video games, and then was given to
Oh,
Sega, I think. But I might be wrong on this.
oh shit! Yeah. He
There's a
said it
bunch of
was.
IPs that were dispersed among multiple companies.
Yeah, right. Like they weren't the original ones that they started off with. Um, he was saying it's because he got stuck in a certain area and gave up, but the reason was because he didn't make a save. I get that. That's the worst when you when you don't save at the right time. Uh
Yeah.
or I've had the opposite where you say where I think you just said this too, JW, but where you end up making a save or getting a what do you call it, a fast save done in a part where you don't want it to happen, and then you're stuck with that limited amount of life or whatever the situation
Oh
was.
yeah, I did that with Resident Evil 4 with one of my playthroughs accidentally,
Oh,
where for some reason, I think just to see if I could, or I was just having fun, I can't remember, but I had killed the merchant in Resident Evil 4 and I saved it like that over my save instead of a new save. So I was stuck for no merchant for the rest of the game.
oh shit!
For the original Resident Evil 4. I don't know if you can still do that with the remake, but yeah, that's something that happened, which
Oh,
became
that's
quite
terrible.
problematic at some parts. I couldn't get any new weapons, that's what, or upgrade them,
Yeah.
or
Oh
sell
shit.
them, or there was just no merchant anymore.
I said I think you were on the stream when it happened to me. I want to say I think it was Far Cry 4 it just recently happened where I think it was Far Cry 4 I was playing. But anyway, I fell off a cliff and it saved right like a
Yeah,
fast save right as I jumped off. Yeah, and it just every time I loaded, I just kept falling down. I was like, you kidding me?
those are the fucking worst though, because there's some games where
They
you'll need
really
to
are.
start over. Like you can't. It's not a question of not getting hit. It's just a question of you're just fucked, and
Yeah,
you're
like
stuck
you
at
ruined it.
repeating this loop.
Or was it? I think I played Borderlands 3 with Gabby, and I don't know how it happened. I was going. She went up the elevator. There's a little elevator just to hop onto, and anyway, I jumped up and I missed right, and I fell below it. So I just waited for it to come back down. But I thought when it would come back down, it would just kill me. But I guess this was one of the glitches in the game. The elevator went right through me, and then somehow, when it went back up, it wouldn't register me like being able to like walk out from that bottom level. So it's like I was permanently stuck underneath the elevator. So I could see the elevator going up. Gabby could see my character standing there. She's like, "Well, just move it." I was like, "I literally can't move it. Like he's literally stuck in like an invisible wall right now."
Yeah, yeah. You were stuck inside the collision of the level.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Also, I had something too with Jimmy where I think it was in Halo 2 we were playing, and there was one of the levels were out in the open. I went to a building, and the minute I entered this building, the whole game crashed. Like it wouldn't
Oh,
register. But like we looked back at it afterwards, like the second playthrough, and like it was no problem that time going in the building. But for whatever reason, like I guess when the elite fired at the same time, and I was hopping through the building, it just the game couldn't process it all at the same time.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's when those kind of things. People think they are random crashes, but there's often this, like you said, it might be a very specific thing that triggers it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just I fucking hate those kind of crashes. It just pisses me off. It's usually Bethesda games, I'll be honest. That's usually the one I always get those kind of moments in.
Oh, it's the Bethesda games that are the most bugged, always.
Yeah.
So, to anybody that's excited for Starfield, I would probably say to wait for a couple of patches. Like,
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised that it crashes on launch.
Yeah, I was saying, if you're getting that game day one, like just prepare for the normal Bethesda feeling.
Because, I remember Fallout 3 on PC when it came out. It crashed on launch for everybody, I think, or most people.
Oh, that's
I
terrible.
remember that happening, and that was quite disgusting. Like it was, I think there were a lot of problems with the consoles versions as well, but it wasn't a crash on launch, so people could still enjoy it. But on PC, it was immediately a crash on launch. You couldn't even play it when it came out.
Like I know the Super Show's taken a few jabs at them, but I really do agree. Like I hate that like Bethesda always gets that like, oh, it's just their charm. It's like,
Yes,
no,
me too.
no, okay.
I have
It's a
gripes,
big
heavy
ass
gripes.
yeah, it's a big ass company. Like fucking fix your shit. Like
Well, it's also the problem with their engines. To be honest, they're using the same engine since like ever for
Oh
every
really?
game. Yes, and Starfield is no different. It's just a
Wow.
better version of a slightly better version of the whatever 20, 30-year-old version engine they have.
Yeah, I was gonna assume for Starfield I thought they would have changed it up, but wow, okay.
You And that's why it always looks so ugly because they have the same engine for like so many years.
Wow. Are you okay, like in all honesty though, like are you hyped for Starfield?
Um, no.
No,
Um,
right? Yeah. Like I feel like
and
I should be, but like I don't know, I'm
well,
not
the
that
last video
interested.
they showed us, it was quite rough. There were lots of frame drops. The combat didn't seem quite on par. It seems quite, I don't know. It didn't seem exciting or anything.
Yeah, like I don't know, like even when it was like mentioned and all that, like I don't know, just like I know again, like I like Bethesda. I do have a lot of their titles and stuff like that, as much as I'm shitting on them right now. But like I don't know, when it was announced, like it didn't hit me the same way that like a new Elder Scrolls would or a new Fallout. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure they've had time to polish it and make it better now, but
Yeah,
it's just from what they've shown, it doesn't seem that interesting to me. But I know
yeah,
a
no,
lot
me
of people
too.
that are hyped for it. So.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. Some people are just like die hard for it right now. But yeah, like I don't know. I just maybe after I
I mean,
watch
it's the
people play
equivalent of
it.
Rockstar coming out with a new game, so yeah, a lot of people are excited for it.
See, that one I might be actually. If Rockstar had a new game, I wouldn't mind playing a new series. Or even oh, what was that good one they had there for a while? Manhunt. That'd be a really neat one to see come back.
I'm not sure it will ever come back.
I know, I know. I think the last time I played a Manhunt game was on the PSP. It was a damn good time. But
I mean, in today's climate, I don't think you'll ever see a game like this until maybe the next couple of generations and like I don't know,
yeah,
20, 30 years when people loosen up again.
so true. Yeah, no, I know. It was a very intense game, but it was damn good. I won't lie. It was a damn good time.
I mean, I
Um,
say this, but in Guardian of the Galaxy 3, there's a guy, you see a guy's face get ripped off, so I mean, you
oh
never
really?
know. Yeah,
And
and it's
I mean,
supposed to be
I
for kids, so
I was gonna say Outlast too. Another one, right? They had some pretty gruesome scenes too. I remember people
oh
were
yeah, for sure.
talking about them. Yeah. Um. Yeah. What was the other one here I had for you? Um. Oh, where is it on here? Oh, is it oh my god, my voice is giving out. Rise, Son of Rome. Did you ever try that one?
Rise, no, because I didn't have an Xbox One.
Was that one Xbox One only? Oh, why do I think it was
Yes.
360? Oh, okay. I was just curious if you tried that one out. That one I thought was pretty fun. It was a really neat like action kind of game. It
Yeah, I hear
reminded me a
good
lot.
things about it.
There we go. It reminded me a lot of what was it Wolverine's Origins? They had that one on that one. I'm pretty sure was on the 360.
Yeah, I didn't play it, but yeah.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. Um, yeah, I think we pretty much covered all the big titles at least that came out. Just trying to see on here if there's anything I missed. No, that was pretty much it. Oh, and Plants vs Zombies too.
Oh, okay. Not my thing again.
Yeah, no, mine either. I did try that game, like just to see what it'd be like, and yeah, I don't get it. I can't. I wouldn't be able to sink hours and hours into that.
We were talking about hype games. My hypest games right now is the next Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy 16 that's coming out this summer.
Oh,
Uh,
you're in the same boat as Jimmy. Yeah, he's really excited for that one too.
oh look, it's made by the Devil May Cry guy, and it looks super
Oh shit,
actiony and incredible to play. So I'm extremely hyped for that one.
that's cool. I didn't know it was made by the Devil May Cry guy. That's
Yep,
awesome.
yep.
Wow. Yeah, that's gonna make
Wh-
combat really interesting.
Well, which is why when you looked at videos, it's so fluid and actiony, and but there seems to be so much more than just good combos. So I can't wait to. Yeah, I've already pre-ordered that one.
Did you? Nice. Did you get like a special edition or just the base one?
Oh, I always get just the base thing.
Yeah.
I,
Okay.
I don't need trinkets, and plus, often when you buy these special editions, and you might, if you don't like the game or if you don't finish it, you don't get, to try out these DLCs or whatever. So you've paid for nothing. So it's
That's
better
very
to just
true.
play the best game, base game, and then when you're done with everything the best game have, if you want more, to buy the DLCs. Because sometimes even when you finish the game, you complete it and everything, you're content. You don't need more, even if you liked it, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you were on that one time I was talking about, but like I didn't really ever get DLCs until Oblivion. That was like the first time I actually bought a DLC and played it. Cause yeah, like I don't know. I mean, most of the time when I've done the story of the main game, like I'm good. Like I've had my moment. I'm pretty happy.
Well, I actually like DLCs when it's like Elder Scrolls or like StarCraft was, where it's a big expansion, like
Yeah,
Witcher 3 type of thing. I don't like it when it's just, Here's a new island for an hour. You know.
Yeah, it's so true. Here's two extra quests.
Yeah. Uh, that it's a bit insulting, I have to say.
It is, yeah. Especially sometimes the price tag you're paying for that, right? Like it's not
Yeah.
cheap. I agree.
And you know,
Hey,
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, hey, pizza.
Hey, what's up? Okay, I'm good now. I had to get my mic. My computer's being weird now for some reason.
Oh, no worries, buddy. Sorry, JW, though you were saying.
I was gonna say, I know, game development is quite hard. I've worked in it, so I'm aware of, the efforts people go to and all that. Especially, we were talking about bugs earlier in games. I don't think there are weirder bugs than in game development and bugs where, it happens once in a while, just like that, once out of 10 times, let's say. You know, when you make an app or a website, bugs usually happen 100% of the time, most of the time, you know,
Yeah.
but not in game development. In game development, they they do, but there's a lot also that it's just, twice out of 10 times or, stuff like that, which is infuriating to
Oh,
uh, to
yeah.
to do.
Well,
So,
like we were
but
saying
it
with the
doesn't.
Halo, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Well, sure, yeah, the Halo thing, but it doesn't justify the price tag of like I said, a DLC of 1 hour and it's like $30.
exactly, yeah. Or, yeah, I said, like, you get, like, two extra quests, and let's say one of them's even a fetch quest, right? Like, it's just not, you're right, it's not worth the $30 that you're paying for. Um, and I agree, like, I think that was exactly why I got the Oblivion DLC, because I think it was Shivering Isles, and you got, like, a whole additional world, and, like, I think it was, like, fuck, I don't know, 10 extra quests or something that you had to do during that one. And I think there was even, like, a little extra bit that you got too. I can't remember if it was like a higher level or something like that. I don't know, something they added to the game anyway. But yeah, that was worth it. That was totally worth the price I paid. Um, Pizza. I don't know if you were able to see it or not, but I mean, you're more than welcome to shout out any of your games that you were thinking of. But in 2013, uh, we had Grand Theft Auto 5, The Last of Us, Tomb Raider reboot, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, Batman Arkham Origins. Like, there's a whole bunch on here. I'm shouting out the main titles. Outlast, Bioshock Infinite, uh, where was it? Saints Row 4, Call of Duty Ghosts, The Walking Dead Season 2, Payday 2, Battlefield 4, The Stanley Parable. Was there any games in 2013 that you think still deserve Game of the Year?
I'm, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not even sure to be honest. I'm not even sure what game I played last. I was even made like in 2013. Um, but I mean, you put GTA on there, so that's one of the games that I played eventually. Like I mean, I think I started playing GTA or at least that version of GTA like around 2019. So I'm like a whole 5 years or 6 years like late to the party. But I don't know. Um, actually, let's see, what game was I playing? I want to say it was me like just probably indie games or at least games that were not as popular back then. Because I do know about Last of Us. I know about you said Arkham Knight. I knew about the other games too, but I don't
Oh
think
god, yeah, there's a lot of indie ones that were listed on here for sure.
yeah, I don't think I don't let me see. Well, I mean, I guess I've seen the Lego games and Far Cry, so a few of them. But yeah, I'm not even
Yeah, there
2013.
was Lego City Undercover. That was one I saw that was listed.
eh, I I don't know if I even had a PS3 when that happened. I think I had a PS2 still. But oh yeah, I had a PS2. Yeah, because 2013, I was in high school still. Yeah, we didn't have PS3 back then. We couldn't. I couldn't afford to have PS3, so yeah, I had PS2. So really, a lot of my games were like, I guess, retro-ish. So I'm definitely kind of not the target audience for this for this podcast.
Oh, no worries. Like I'm more saying like it's nowadays, right? Like so, I mean, like, would you have changed your opinion over the last 10 years? So I mean, you're on the ball. Like a lot of people were shouting out Grand Theft Auto 5. It seems like that was majority of people's game that's held up.
Oh yeah, I mean, because like plenty of games on here I played, but I don't think I played any of these games back in like 10 years ago. Like maybe after high school, during college, I would have, and that's mainly due to the fact that around that time I just started to actually get into more modern-ish gaming. Oh, let me see. Yeah, because I think the only game that really like kind of got me. Actually, hang on. Let me see. I'm saying all this, and I'm thinking about what game was I thinking about? There was a game,
Hey, keep it down there,
Call
bud.
of Duty. Yeah, so I played Call of Duty a lot. During the PS3 kind of era, but I was still kind of young back then, so I didn't really know much about it. But yeah, I was still playing a lot of PS2 games. But I'm sorry. Let me try and bring PS3 to the play. So you know, uh, game of the year games. So I know we talked about Deus Ex. We talked about that in the chat, and that's a game that I played like heavily. I mean, like I played that game probably back and forth at least 4 times because that's one of the only games I really like kind of put time and effort into.
I say yeah, that was JW's choice. He picked the definitive edition.
Yeah. So I mean, like there were, of course, there were other games I played. Like I played like PS Home, like the little PlayStation game. I played that a lot as well. Kind of in between playing Deus Ex. I played that. You know, Killzone. I don't know when Killzone came out, but
No, no, there was a PSP version of Killzone that came out in 2013.
I played like just I played 2 and 3 on the PS3, and then of course I went back to playing the first one like years later on. So yeah, a few games here and there I played on the PS3, but it was not much. I mean, like
That
three
was
or
a good
four.
series though.
Yeah.
Killzone. That was an excellent shout. I loved number three. That was my only experience on the PS3 with that game. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, of course, I had Battlefield and Call of Duty. Like, like I mean, like I guess the main ones that we kind of know about anyways, and like all the shooting games pretty much. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It's back then in 2013, or like just even in that era, it was really just kind of retro gaming. I mean, even now it's retro. I mean, I guess PS3 is retro, so I'm kind of doing that. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, like so many games that I just have not even gotten a chance to play. I mean, even now on the emulator, like there are plenty of games that I have just not even touched because some of them are just out of the region. Like they're Japan only games, or they're just games that they were so heavily like underrated that no one even bothered about it. So it's like I kind of have to get myself into that, dig into that little I guess section of PS3.
I agree with you because that's what I was saying earlier. Like a lot of these I haven't played. I mean, I played some of them now, but like there's a big chunk of this list that I haven't even touched yet. So I was kind of basing my answer just on like what I've experienced and what other people have played and their opinions and thoughts on it, right? And I kind of said that mine was The Last of Us, because I just feel like that one really stood out in 2013, and it still does. Still has its name thrown around and mentioned 10 years later. But then again, Grand Theft Auto 5 kind of is in the same bracket. I can see why a lot of people pick that one. Like I said, it's 10 years later, still haven't got number six, and it's still popular as all hell.
Uh, I mean, I know that when those games came out, I just never really cared about it too much. I mean, I just wasn't really in the mood for it. Even though I played and I loved, like, my favorite GTA game is gonna be 4. That's like my favorite one, just because I don't it's the only one that's set in a good form. I guess GTA 3 is as well, but like they had really good physics. It had a good story. It was in New York, so it's like that was my favorite GTA game. So when GTA 5 came, I was like, I mean, they made it seem like it was just gonna be, I guess, something like San Andreas, which it wasn't my favorite game. It was nice, but it wasn't like my favorite of
I totally get that.
the franchise. So I was like, no big deal. And then I know you
That's
had Last of Us, but I mean, like, I was like, Last of Us, I don't know. So I mean, I don't know. I guess I wasn't really in the mood for like zombie games back then. And then even now, looking at all the gameplay and all that kind of stuff, it looks more like a movie. So I'm like, playing a movie game. At least, sorry, the newer Last of Us is more like movie based. I'm sure the old one was all action, all shooting and fighting. But yeah, like when it came out, I just something just did not click with me, and so I just said, I'll leave it alone, and I just haven't even touched it.
I was gonna say I feel the same way with Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto Vice City, like really, like I got sucked into that world. Like I'm pretty sure I spent my whole like 1 year in high school, or whatever, just playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City nonstop. And then yeah, when San Andreas came out and the other ones, like I mean they all look neat. Don't get me wrong, I do like Grand Theft Auto as a series. But yeah, nothing really captured me the same way that Vice City did. I don't know what it was, but yeah, just Vice City really hit me. So I can get why you like number 4 a lot compared to the other ones.
Yeah, so just like I do wish we had a more variety of GTA. 'Cause I mean, I think that playing in the same old, I think like just had somebody told me like, well, yeah, back then, like with the new, I was right. If someone had told me back then, like back in 2013 or even 2012, that like it'll be more San Andreas, yeah, I would have just said, nah, I'm gonna, I would have just, I would have ignored it all completely, just
Yep.
because of what it was. But I mean, again, I played it down the road. It was a good game. It's a pretty good game. It's just, you know, maybe it's just I needed a break from GTA, so I got back
Totally,
into it.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was fun though. Like I enjoyed GTA 5. I think that if they got rid of the cheaters, I would be I play it a lot more. But until they fix all of that, they fix the griefing, then I'm gonna hold off on, which I don't mind because you know so many games that came out now that I don't even have time to kind of, even in general, I don't have time to just play all of the old retro games because you got so many new games that are like kind of catching my attention now that like looking at this list, I do want to try out games like Arkham City, or let me see, or Arkham City or Arkham Knight, I'm not sure. The
Yeah,
Batman
Arkham
games,
Origins.
there we go. I want to try out the Batman games. I want to try out maybe maybe Last of Us. I want to try out, Bioshock because I never played it. It looked fun. It looked fun, but
Oh, I feel you. I have actually 2 copies of Black Flag, for the 360 and for the Xbox One, and neither one of them I've touched yet. I still want to try that 102.
yeah, I think I know that I had bought, I bought a few of the Assassin's Creed games. I'm still working on finishing the first one. It's definitely it's not a drag, but man, like you definitely you move slower in that game. I feel like
So true. Yeah.
but I
I
mean,
was asking another Discord for advice on that because yeah, I found like I want to play Assassin's Creed and say okay, yeah, I've experienced it, but yeah, just I don't know. Number 1 is just it's a long time.
yeah, now of course disclaimer, I haven't touched any of the other games, but I have seen like the gameplay of it. I'm like, these guys move like they move a lot better. Like I, for example, actually no, I played the trial of like of Odyssey. I'm like, yeah, this guy he moves with a quickness. And so she's like going all the way back to the first one. Yeah, like I'll tell you, he just moves like he's an old man, or at least he was
Yeah.
established back then. But
Well, I
man,
mean,
like it's not, maybe it's just for the scenery, or maybe because they didn't really know how to do running back then. They could do
Could be,
parkour,
yeah.
well, it's because the first one was more about, doing discrete assassinations, and then the ones that followed after that were more open in how you would assassinate someone, and if it became hairy, if you got discovered, you had a way to get out of it that is easier than the first one. I think the first one was not. I think they were limited, but I also think there was this thing of let's not make the uh, say saber combat easy, because otherwise people there would be no incentive to be discreet about it.
I was gonna say, JW, did you play a lot of the Assassin's Creed series?
Oh yeah, I've played all of them. Um,
Yeah. When so like okay, was it like after three? Is that when they kind of started to change the direction of it? Because now it's like more RPG style, right? Compared to
the
what it was when it first came out.
RPG, the RPG style. Well, it sort of started with Unity in some ways. Like Unity
Okay.
still had the original way of doing Assassin's Creed game, but they had put some RPG stuff in it, if I remember correctly,
Oh.
or levels and weapons and stuff.
Okay.
So I guess they tried it out with Unity, and afterwards, after Unity, it was Assassin's Creed Origin in Egypt, where they went full on RPG. But I didn't play the mobile one, so I don't know about that, or the portable ones. I'm talking about the main games.
Yeah, I did play the PSP one, and it was very similar to the first Assassin's Creed, though I did find it easier. I don't know why. I mean, it was just the PSP. But yeah, that one was pretty decent. Sorry, Pizza. I was just curious when they
I'm
changed up the style.
I'm like, you're fine. I mean, I didn't really. I guess like when he was talking about how they were limited. I mean, like, yeah, that makes sense. 'Cause, I mean, you could definitely tell when a game is like when they have nothing else to offer. When they're like doing the best they can with what they have. Like, I mean, 'cause, yeah, Assassin's Creed, it definitely felt like they didn't have enough resources to kind of really give it more, like maybe more fluidity. But yeah, um, still that's
Very
pretty cool
true.
though. I didn't, yeah, I didn't know too much about Assassin's Creed, so I'm glad that JW kind of really put more out there for me because even though I have the trilogy and I have a few other ones, I'm not sure what else I have. I know I have one, two, and three. I might have I might have Unity or Revelation, not Revelations, Brotherhood. I might have that one. I could go and check, but I do kind. I want to know more about it before I get into it. Just that so that way I'm not too confused about it.
Yeah,
I'm the
because it
same way.
depends which trilogy you have. Like, do you have the trilogy like Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 3, or do you have like the trilogy, the Ezio collection, which is Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelation?
It's just
Oh
one. I
yeah,
think
they have different ones.
Yep.
I no, yeah, no, sorry, yeah. So it's one, two, and three. I have that trilogy. I have seen the Ezio collection on sale, but I don't know if I bought that one. Even though I'm guessing they're like they kind of intertwined with each other. But I think I bought it individually. To be honest,
Yeah, that's possible. I mean,
yeah.
uh, they really go off the rails, to be honest. Because it started off with this interesting mystery with the first one of, you're in this sort of almost test environment and going into the machine, and you're trying to find something in the past of your ancestors. And
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
so there was this, interesting mystery, Then at the end of two, they went like completely off the rails without wanting to spoil anything. And then it's almost like they didn't know where they needed to go. And then there's this whole insane otherworldly plot. And then after three, it, they didn't know what to do. And ever since then, it's just been a mess of a story.
That's what I
Unbearable,
was
to be
curious about,
honest.
JW. Do they? Is that like original idea number one? Like I can't remember the machine's name that they had for it, but that futuristic machine that they're
The
visiting
Animus?
these. Yeah, thank you. Is that one still relevant in all the other Assassin's Creed, or is it like just that story's done with? Like that's just tossed aside now altogether?
Oh no, the Animus is present in every Assassin's
Oh,
Creed because that's
oh,
the thing
okay.
that makes you, go to your path. But
Oh, okay, okay.
I just, I don't know. I've stopped listening to what are the main, the present day stories because they're dumb. They don't make sense. Um,
Okay.
I tend to put more attention to the uh, historical stories. Well, I say historical. Let's say they're very loose with history with Assassin's Creed game, but it, it's still fun, I guess, here and there. I didn't like Valhalla, to be honest. Uh, I really liked Origins. I did the whole game. The story of that was really cool. Odyssey was good, but it was too long. I lost track of it. I didn't know what I was doing anymore. Too big,
Yeah, I
too
heard
long.
Odyssey was a long one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I played Valhalla a few times, and I mean, like, I enjoyed it, but of course, I never touched the original game. So for me, playing Valhalla, it was like, it. I assumed. Well, I'm not saying that because I mean, I think it put the originals, but like when I played Valhalla, I guess for me, it felt like it was a fun game to play, but I was a casual, so for me, it was just like oh, it's just fighting, just kind of running around. You're on a ship, you're fighting people, It was like a hack and slash game, and of course, I like Dynasty Warriors, so hacking slashing games are really kind of my thing, and so I kind of stuck with it. But yeah, it was a boring game. It was a long game. Like everything, it seemed as though they had you always doing something, and it was never doing something for the story. It was just doing all these side quests, all
Yeah.
these side missions, all these collectibles. I'm like, like I'm going across the map to find like little pieces of materials and equipment. I'm like, why am I doing all this? And so I just kind of stopped playing the game because it got to the point where it was just boring. It was a big old map that had nothing going on with it, and so I just said, I'm good.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Which I mean, you know, I did miss out on a lot of the events, but it didn't really seem like the events did much to kind of help the game, or at
No.
least I don't know if they did or not. Like for example, the Norse DLC and the Jewish DLC, I just never touched them because I don't know if it was worth it for me to go back into the game and really just kind of come into it lost because the thing is I was midway through some side collectible mission and I just gave up and that was it.
I was gonna say, when it comes to Assassin's Creed, I don't know if you feel the same way, Pizza. But I feel what draws me more into the newer ones is the RPG mechanic. Like I know it shouldn't, but like I'm a sucker for RPGs. Like any kind of it's like any way you can throw it in there, like I'll take it. Like it just makes the game instantly better for me. I don't know why. I feel like I'll do better, I guess, in a game if I know I can upgrade that character or like level them up or gain new skills or whatever the case might be. It just makes me feel like I have a better chance at playing it and
Oh, I
actually
mean,
beating it.
yeah, I mean, definitely, like I love RPG games a lot. And I just think that with Assassin's Creed, or like, well, yeah, or any game like Assassin's Creed, where they put you in this big map and they have you doing like pointless things, like like let's say for example Fallout, like every Fallout game, they have you doing like kind of just running around and collecting things. But over there, it makes more sense because you're a scavenger. You're pretty much looking over. Like they they give you those collectible missions to kind of explore and really kind of get a feel for what happened when the bombs fell. But in
Yep.
Assassin's
Plus,
Creed,
there are stuff that happens, right? You encounter characters during that quest and all that.
yeah, and then
Oh,
of course,
totally
like
true.
with
Yeah.
and then with Assassin's Creed, it's like I'm guessing they want you to explore, but the issue is that like there's no real point to the exploring. It's just go here, collect something, and then be done with it.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
a
like
million towers. There's no new stuff, really.
Yeah.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
remember the first one I really hated the ones where you'd have to like walk behind someone like really slowly and like listen to their conversation or sit somewhere nearby and like listen into their conversation. Like I don't know, maybe it was just the first like part of that game. I remember that specifically though, playing it and I hate that shit. Oblivion does that too every once in a while in some of their quests where you had to like follow someone around town and listen. Like I hate that so much. It's so boring to me. I think
yeah.
that's what kind of drove me off Assassin's Creed. In all honesty,
I can feel you on that. But yeah, luckily, going back and look at the classes though, like like I mean, I think I put way more time into the first Assassin's Creed to have with Origins and um Valhalla, and I think it was because like back then, you know, it was just all about the parkour. It was all about the story. It was all about you just kind of getting immersed in there, rather than it being about you just kind of traveling hundreds of miles to collect things. At least that's how they made it seem. Maybe the devs they had this vision of making Valhalla like this epic Viking story where like everything pertains to the history of them. But I think that somewhere down the road they just kind of said we give up, and that's kind of where I'm at too.
No, you're right. The parkour hasn't been good for a long time. I think the last Assassin's Creed to have good parkour was Unity. Unity had this really good parkour where you could decide by going up and down. And it used to be almost a puzzle doing parkour in Assassin's Creed. And when you were good at it, it became fluid and nice, you know? But as time went on, they made it easier and easier to do parkour, and then it just lost its magic. Now it's just the same as walking, and it's boring, and it doesn't do anything. And especially in the recent RPG ones, it's the parkour is the worst thing of those games.
Yeah, in fact, it almost feels like it's like it's kind of like how vegans like sorry, it's like how vegans make the whole fake meat type of thing. Like with the parkour in Assassin's Creed, like the new ones, it feels like it's kind of like fake parkour. It's like it's that you're close to being it, but you're just climbing things. Like I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's just like it has like that fake, like it has that pretend that you're doing parkour, and it's like like they don't even try with it, which is a shame because like they have all these tall buildings, they have all of these trees, like they have everything around here. They could make everything climbable, and I'm sure they do, but it just looks like you're just like aimlessly kind of running around and climbing things. Whereas in the older games, when you were climbing, everything had stop. Everything had this flair to it, to where when you were jumping over obstacles, when you were like jumping in the haystacks, when you were going up these towers, it felt like it was like action movie status, not just go up here.
well, it's because there were stakes. risks of doing these things and getting it wrong, or jumping at the wrong place, and all that. It's the Tomb Raider thing as well. Tomb Raider used to have to be able to jump to certain places, otherwise you would just fall and die,
Yeah.
and be very specific at moments. Then the remake did this, the Assassin's Creed thing of just, oh well, you can climb up and it's not that much of a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. To be fair, though, like there isn't really a lot of fighting in Valhalla. Oh, sorry, let me clear that. There's fighting in the main parts, but like when you're exploring, like you might get lucky to find one or two people to fight.
Excuse
Like it's
me.
all like it's just a barren area. So yeah, because I do know, in the with the first one, when you're climbing places, like you have guards everywhere, so you have the opportunity to get into a fight if you were to fall on them, if you were to miss a gap, and plus, since you're always being not hunted, but like your people are alert about you, then yeah, like being on top of buildings, it really does make the parkour necessary, and it makes it feel more rewarding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like even with I get the confused Odyssey, yeah, sorry. With Odyssey, it's just like when you're climbing things, like there's no real danger because all the real danger happens in the main quests. And then of course by the time you have to do the side quests and fight people, like you're so OP that it doesn't matter what you do. You can just one shot them and be done with it.
No, I just remembered there's actually a game after Unity, but before Origins, the London one. I can't remember the name. Syndicate, that had
Oh
RPG element.
yeah.
I had totally forgot about that one.
Yeah,
It
me
had
too. Wow.
it had RPG elements as well, and then they changed
Mm,
it to Origins.
let's see. Yeah, I know like I was on a Reddit forum for Assassin's Creed, and people were talking a lot about like how I think they're talking about Unity, and like how they enjoyed Unity the most because of something it had. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and just power through the first one, get it done with, and then I'm gonna see about two and three. But yeah, I want to see how Unity is because people talk really highly of it. They talk
Really,
highly of it. They do. They talk
I'm
more about
surprised.
that than two.
I'm surprised because I really like Unity, but I remember everybody hating Unity when it came out. And I
Oh
think it's
yeah,
because it was riddled with bugs and it was unplayable when it came out.
yeah. I mean, yeah, like there was I think it was a guy, a YouTuber who like made a video of like all the bugs in Unity, and yeah, like it was pretty much unplayable when it came out. But I mean, people, I guess when it got fixed, people were going crazy about it. So I definitely want to give it a try. Now that all the bugs are squashed and they have more content in there, and yeah, I'm gonna definitely give it a try and see.
Yeah, because I really wish they would have gone more in the Unity direction than the Origin direction of being super RPG. Plus, the Unity game looked so good compared to the to what they've done with the other ones afterwards. And I just wish they would have continued like this. Plus, it was so freeing, the missions you could do in that game and the way to tackle them and all that. It is what it is in the end.
So yeah, maybe they will. I mean, once they decide to release the next open world one, the not samurai, the shinobi or the ninja Assassin's Creed. Maybe when they drop that one, they might go back to how Unity was, where it's even though it's the core, like like what they're known for, but it's going to be way more parkour, and it may have some RPG. It'll be like Ghost of Tsushima, pretty much.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say actually. Ubisoft doesn't know what to do. They've been flopping after flopping. So they have multiple Assassin's Creed projects that are very different from one to the other, and they'll stick with whatever works.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to see. But I mean, who knows? They might pull through and give us something that's not as tedious as Valhalla. Because I mean, even though
Uh,
we know that with Mirage's going to be just Assassin's Creed 2, which I mean, no big deal. You know, hopefully their next open world game is going to be something that's worth it. Because I
Honestly,
mean,
I think Ubisoft either needs new direction or needs to get bought to be forced a new direction because they're not good. They have good ideas, but they can't execute them properly. They've been not doing great for a long time now, I think.
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, because like their last Watch Dogs game. I mean, if that's not a good indicator of where they are, then I don't know what is. Because you know, I was hyped for that game, and then when it
Me
came
too.
out, it definitely it definitely didn't feel as expansive as Watch Dogs 2, or it didn't feel like it didn't have the vibe, like it didn't have that. What's the worst? The immersion as Watch Dogs 2. So I don't know.
That's a series I really want to get into. I played Watch Dogs 1 and I don't know if I don't know if I was in the right like mindset for it or what, but like I really struggled to enjoy that one, but I don't know, I still kept it downloaded cuz I feel like yeah, if I was to try it again, maybe I'd enjoy it more.
I would recommend to you then that you play it again, but with mods. Oh no, you're not on PC, are you?
No, no, yeah, just on the Xbox.
Okay, never mind then. Because there are mods on PC that make this game so much better gameplay wise. I'm not talking about necessarily visuals,
Oh,
I
okay.
get it.
which
So
I've
what?
played and it's great. I've been loving it. They add so much stuff that wasn't in the base game. So
Like what did you add on that like what were some of the things that made it more fun? Like some of the mods?
there were a bunch of different kinds of missions that wasn't there in the first one. Because the thing with the first one is that it's like GTA, but with a paint of you know vigilantism, or with you can move bridges and stuff like that. And so the mods added all sorts of skills. They've added enemies and real
Oh, okay.
life, well, real life. I mean, events that would happen in the open world and affect you and all sorts of stuff. It's called the Living City mod, I think.
That's
And
pretty cool. Okay.
yeah, I had a lot of fun with that. The thing I love with I actually really like the first Watchdog because I'm a sucker for vigilante stories, and I really also like the that you could stop enemies by shooting them in the limbs without killing them. I had mads of fun stopping criminal like this, and then the second one had cool gameplay stuff, but I couldn't stand the stories and characters. And third one, they've tried to do something interesting, but wasn't well executed. Again, a good idea, but not well executed. Where you do your own team of a bunch of characters. That's the cool stuff with Watch Dogs, I guess. Every game is quite different from each other. So
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. The one and two are that different. Wow. Oh, nice.
1, 2, and 3, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, number three is Legion, right? Just to make sure.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
The world and characters are not interesting though, but or story, but uh, actually nothing is that interesting with this game. It's just it had this concept of recruiting any NPC that you see on the street, and they all had you could
Yeah.
hack their profile and see what they had and all that. You know, and when we talk about it as an idea, it's really cool, but it's not well executed. It becomes quite boring, to be honest.
Yeah, it even depends, I guess, how the people are too that you're hacking, right? If everyone's kind of just the same, with only a few that stand out, then yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's like,
That's
as good.
exactly it in the end. Yeah,
Was it? Oh wow.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's a real missed opportunity.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Sorry, Pizza, though, you were mentioning about Watch Dogs?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Oh, you're muted, buddy. I don't know if you're talking or not. Nope, maybe not. Pizza just went pee or something. Okay, what do we at here? Holy moly. Okay, well, it's getting a little bit later. So, Pizza, if you do hop on, feel free to shout out your um discussion you were gonna say about Watch Dogs. I'm just gonna hop over to the last little part of all this. So I didn't really think of anything this time around for something positive, right, to end it off on. But I mean, I feel like we've all kind of thrown little tidbits here and there of stuff that we really like and really enjoyed. So thought it'd be kind of cool to end it off with just something you want to shout out that you just don't think gets a lot of notice. It could be like a TV show that you're really passionate about, a band, music, doesn't really matter, streamer, YouTube channel, like whatever it is, just something you enjoyed. So, example, myself, I really enjoyed Felt Face. It's this puppet I recently discovered. He's like a stand-up comedian. I believe the guy himself is Australian. Um, and he doesn't do the classic, like ventriloquism where he just kind of sits there with the puppet. He literally hides behind a desk or whatever it is. And there's like a black sheet or there's a tablecloth or something for the puppet to be a part of. And yeah, Felt Face is up there and he's doing like all the jokes, all the stand up stuff. And it's really freaking funny. Like, if you don't like puppets, like, I get it. It won't be your obviously style of humor, but like I love puppets. I love when comedians use that kind of improv stuff. So I was like pissing myself laughing. Like it was so funny. Like it'd be like dumb things that would happen that I love that he just rolled with. So for example, he loves doing crowd work and he will talk to people in the audience and all that, and like sometimes because it's a puppet and obviously you can't see where the puppet's pointing, the puppet wouldn't be looking at the person. So they'd be like, are you talking to me? And he'd be like, oh fuck, my eyes are in the wrong spot again, aren't they? Like you just roll with it. And like I don't know, there was what was another part they had, he had that scenario happen, and then I guess the owner of the business was trying to help him out, so he put the spotlight on the person, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the fucking spotlight, like that's gonna help me," because obviously he can't see where it is either, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, just it was good. Like it was just good humor. I mean, yeah, lots of swearing and stuff like that. If that bothers you in comedy or not. But like I mean, all of his jokes were just like they weren't clean, you know what I mean? But they weren't like over the top. Like it was all like just good humor. And I said I really, I don't know, I really value the stand up comedians that do crowd work because I love when they bring the audience into it. Like I wouldn't want to be in that situation because I know I'd be the person like, yeah, I came here. Like I wouldn't know how to interact with the comedian, but I do like the ones that really get them going. But yeah, that'd be my shout out anyway. I think if you guys haven't yet, you should definitely check out Felt Face because it was pretty damn funny to me.
Yeah. You posted bits in the Discord. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I've already said it in the past, but Babylon, like I said, is my film of the year, and I don't think it got any attention at all. It totally flopped at the box office, and I myself didn't went to see it to the cinema because of how poorly advertised it was. Like I said earlier, it was shown as this, party film with a bunch of really good actors and all that, but it wasn't that at all. And uh, I would say to people to give it a shot because it's worth every second of it. So
It's really stupid, eh? Like I was like when you were saying that, there's a lot of good movies like that that have like either a fantastic story or whatever it is, or no good character development, and they ruin it. Yeah, in those trailers when they just like focus on the thing they think people are gonna love about it. Like there could be like this one really cool fight scene, and like that's it. They're gonna focus the whole trailer on that, but like really, it's the character that's going through everything that's like the best part of that movie. It's just, yeah, just I don't know, it blows my mind sometimes.
well, yeah, I mean, and I think there's like this. There, the movie starts with almost this giant party with orgy scene and all that, and
Yeah.
that's all they've advertised in like every article in everything. Everyone talks about it. Everyone says, "Oh yeah, it's the movie with the RG scene or whatever." But that's just the start of the movie. There's
Yeah.
so much more than that. But that's all that people remembers from the advertisement.
Yeah,
And
I see
so
that's
they
so
haven't
bad
went
too.
and so they didn't went to see it. So
I say that either that scenario, like you just said, where they just show you the first like couple minutes of the movie, or on the opposite side of the scale, the one I always hate too is when they show you the best pieces of that whole movie, and then that was it. Like you saw all the best scenes in the trailer.
well, I hate the 2-3 minutes trailers where you see the whole movie and plot
Yeah.
and everything in the film in the trailer. I really hate that. It makes me think of when in the time of the VHS, there were some VHS where they would show the behind the scenes of the film before the film would start. And so you would
Oh
see all
yeah.
sorts of bits from the movie, like important bits too, with the actor talking over it and all that. And it's just dumb.
It was,
So dumb.
yeah. Oh, I totally remember that. Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Before you had the DVD menu. Oh my god.
Well, with
Yeah.
VHS, you couldn't skip to the menu because there's no menu.
Yeah.
I guess you could fast forward it, but you didn't know when the movie started because of it.
Yeah, it's so dumb, eh? Like, just put it at the end of the movie. Like, why at the beginning?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Um, Pizza. I guess you something happened on your end, buddy. I'm not too sure. Oh no, you're
Oh,
back.
no. Oh, well, thank you, thank you. Whew, I thought the dog real quick, but I'm good now.
No worries, no worries. I thought maybe you just went to the bathroom or did something else.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
we're back.
so yeah, sorry. I was just well, we were just wrapping up. But I know you were talking about Watch Dogs there, so I didn't want to stop you if you had a little add-on that you wanted to make.
Oh no, I didn't. I mean, that's yeah, not really. I mean, not much really goes with Watch Dogs. I mean, it's kind of already, I guess self-explanatory. So that's really it.
No worries, buddy. Okay, so how about on the other end there? So we were just saying like something that you wanted to shout out, that maybe you think other people should watch, see, play, whatever the case might be. So doesn't matter. It could be. I know you don't watch TV, so maybe like a video game you think everyone should play, or like a YouTube channel that everyone should be watching, or whatever.
As far as like games or channels to watch, I don't know. I mean, I would probably say, I've been watching like Asmongold, like that streamer who just like plays WoW all the time. I mean, you know, he has some interesting videos that are not all that are, kind of outside of the World of Warcraft scape, but I mean, he's pretty entertaining. So, I'd recommend him. And
Okay, I have to ask, like, because people get really excited over World of Warcraft. Like, when you're watching him, like, what is it that like attracts you about that game? Like watching it from a viewers.
well, I don't really care about WoW because it's not my kind of game.
Yeah.
I watch him because like he does, even though he plays WoW a lot of times he kind of talks about like he talks about things. Like he'll talk about like I guess current events, social,
Oh.
like so. Even though he's a WoW streamer, like he does like a lot more commentary, like outside of the gaming commentary. So that's kind of why I like watching him. That kind of
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, he's pretty entertaining. He definitely has a lot of like different takes on things, and like he definitely seems to be speaking on behalf of a lot of people, just because the way he can kind of put himself out there and like really bring his points to light. They're like they're I guess they're like common sense things, or like they're things that a lot of people kind of agree with. So that's kind of why I'm watching him, just being able to voice his opinions. And yeah, that's really, he's an entertaining person who I think that, whenever you have downtime or you're bored or really anything, you can just kind of put on an episode of his, I guess his clips from Twitch, and you'll be entertained. You'll definitely get sucked into it. So that's one I recommend.
Sorry, Pizza, was he on Twitch or is he on YouTube or both?
He's
Both.
on both.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
yeah, I'm rarely on Twitch nowadays just because I don't have time. I don't have enough time to get on there during the day. But yeah,
Yeah.
just look at yeah, just Asmon Gold, and you'll find him on YouTube, and you'll find like he has like different channels. Like he has TV and like clips. So I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like they all have content that's kind of worth watching. So you know,
Yeah.
if,
No, that's a
if
cool
you
one. I'll
want
watch
to
that
do
one.
it, if you want to go down that route, yeah, there's definitely enough to kind of keep you entertained.
Yeah, nice. Okay, I'll have to watch that one then. That sounds pretty neat. I always like listening to like well, I mean it's not debate, but I do like interesting listening sorry to current events.
Oh
Like you
yeah,
said, some people have really good takes and other people it's just a little like yeah.
yeah, no, definitely. I just happen to, like when it's, anything that revolves around drama, I kind of watch them just because, that's really what is entertaining about just kind of watching him
It's
really
true.
talk about, all this nonsense that's happening in the world. That's kind of where I get tuned in. But he definitely has a lot of different styles of commentary. Like sometimes he'll talk only about WoW. He'll talk about gaming stuff, but I think most of the time it's like whatever happened on Twitter, which I don't mind, because I'm on Twitter, you know, frequently only because like my school had them block Twitter, but they blocked Instagram, which is doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
So
that's weird.
yeah, I don't understand why they would do that because Twitter has no restrictions. So it's like if somebody wants to make a reply or a post that has like boobs out, you can see it. Like there's no blocking it. But Twitter, Instagram has more security, yet they blocked that one. So it's definitely weird. Like TikTok, Twitter are unblocked, and Twitch, but Instagram's blocked for some reason, which is I don't understand that reasoning.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. But I do agree with you. Yeah, every day there's something funny to read on Twitter,
Yeah, definitely.
especially as debates go.
Yeah, I mean, even though I don't get involved in all that kind of stuff because that's
Oh,
just
same
like
here. I just read the comments.
yeah, I mean like trying to even get your point across on Twitter is like trying to drag a brick across, you know, a, a pound of other bricks. It's very annoying. It's back and forth. It's not worth it. So yeah. So with Asmon, he's able to kind of say what we're thinking, or he's able to bring in some entertaining opinions. So that's that's why I recommend him.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that one then. Yeah, because I said I like that kind of stuff. I'm with you though. I'll never like actually usually voice my opinion because you're right. It's just a waste of time. Um, but it is interesting. Yeah, seeing someone being able to do it and actually win the fight.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I guess as far as like gaming goes, 'cause I do have something I've been playing. Like I've been playing, a lot of Call of Duty. So I've been playing Cold War a lot, way more than
Oh,
Modern
nice.
Warfare 2. So so I mean, yeah, you should. I would definitely. Sorry, I would definitely recommend playing Cold War because that's a really good game. Well, I mean, it's a good game now. Back then it was kind of like iffy, kind of very, very like glitchy and buggy, but now it's fixed and it's a good game. So, if you like, if you like Cold War era stuff, if you like the '80s, then you like it. You get to shoot people who were from the '80s. So it's that's my game to shout out because once I have off of here, I'm gonna play that game mainly because yeah, I'll play that game for a little bit and then that's really it.
Yeah, I get you. Um, yeah, I mean, I always have fun with Call of Duty. Just the only one I never got into is Warzone.
So yeah, I don't like playing Warzone nowadays. Yes, that it requires me to like use all my brain power, and I
Exactly.
don't
Yeah.
have that kind of effort. And plus, you got people who are cheating, you got people who are camping, and then like I said, it's a personal issue with me, but like when you're playing with headphones, for some reason, when someone headshots you, like it makes this loud, annoying, like cracking noise. And I mean, like it
Oh.
is like loud, and it's like it'll startle you. And I hate it because like a lot of times I get headshotted, so I'm hearing that noise, and it's loud. It is like not ear piercing, but it gets your attention. And I'm like, I can't do it. I can't play the game anymore because of that.
Yeah, that's a really stupid feature they'd have. Wow.
Yeah, I tried to get rid of it, but for some reason they don't allow you to turn down sorry, with the effects, since I'm sorry, with the sound effects, if you turn that down, you turn everything down, the gunshots, the footsteps, everything. So I'm like, I had to play with that noise on, and so I just kind of stopped playing it altogether. And I mean, I'm not worried about it because honestly, Warzone, it wasn't the game that was like on my top 10. I mean, it wasn't on my top 20. It was kind of just there.
I get you. It's like your little break from Apex, pretty much. Just another one to dabble into for a little bit.
Um, so yeah, I would still rank Apex way above Warzone just because it is everything about that game feels better. It looks well. I mean, it looks the same, I guess, but it feels better. It plays better, and it's a much better game. But of course, I'm the minority in that case. 'Cause a lot of kids, a lot of a lot of as we call them, a lot of little Timmies, they play Warzone. So
Oh
of
yeah.
course, trying to compete with little kids, it's going to be hard to do. But yeah,
Hey, if
it,
it's not that one, it'd be Fortnite. It'd be a different one. There's always gonna be somebody's preference when it comes to battle royales.
oh yeah, especially with Fortnite, like I mean, you got man, you got people like that are like twice our age who will defend Fortnite till they die, and I'm like, that's a game for children, and yet for some reason they get their feelings hurt when I say that.
Yeah, so
I
true.
don't, I don't understand it, but I guess like I said, I'm the minority. I know for a fact that me playing Fortnite or Roblox, I mean, I'll play them, but they're definitely not like Apex, and I stand by that.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
I think
I mean,
Apex is its own element.
yeah, yeah, but again, that's just taking a break from there is all. I might get back into it because I do kind of want to do something with it. I don't know. I just want to do something with Apex. I haven't touched it in so long that I am kind of like I'm losing my grip with it. So I definitely want to just you know ease myself, like dip my toes back into it, and then maybe start doing something like maybe I don't know, making content because I definitely want to be just I want to do something with it. That's all.
No, that'd be pretty cool, actually. Like, even just showing off each character, and, like what you're capable of doing with them. Like, I'm
Exactly.
sure there's something you could make with Apex.
So yeah, yeah. I'm sure there is. I'm just. I mean, I don't have a lot of creativity these days because, I'm spending most of my brain power dealing with children. So it's
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I think for you,
that's
John. Well, or no, wait.
what's
You
up.
said you're gonna do summer school, right? You're gonna do teaching summer school.
I'm debating on if I want to do that.
Yeah, because as I say, for you, pretty much the only time for content would probably be the summertime, like when you actually get like a little bit of vacation and you can think about ideas.
Yeah, I did not definitely. So I'm seeing how that's gonna work because if and only if I can like find a way to make it work, then I'll definitely try and do YouTube just to kind of get some content out there. I mean like I'm gonna post videos here and there, but I mean like just like doing it at a consistent rate would be
Yeah,
that would be great. And of course, yeah, only in the summertime because during the weekend I'm using that time to kind of just recuperate. So it's definitely a juggle that I'm trying to make work. And I'm sure one of these days, if not during summer, before that time, but I'm definitely gonna try and get something going so that I can start, I can start just doing something, doing more.
I get you, buddy. Like I said, it's tough. It's totally tough when you work a full time job. I'm the same way. Weekends is like my sleep and recovery time. Otherwise, I'd be going crazy at this point.
I know it's you've been having those squatters, those
Ah, yeah, that's
yeah, I
been
don't
wonderful.
yeah. You've been having to do a lot of work lately, so I don't blame you, man. It's tough.
Like
It's tough.
motherfuckers had a barbecue and flowers set up. Like Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, and I mean, just the fact that nobody was saying anything about it, it's just like, oh well,
No, it's pretty crazy. Like I have a gym next to me, and that guy today called the police, and he was talking with them too. And yeah, like all I got today was a phone call, just basically saying, "Oh, are they still there?" I was like, "Well, yeah. Where the hell are you guys?" Like I was like, they're literally stealing like over hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. It's a pain in the ass. It just sucks too because my company really doesn't do anything. They'll just basically like flip it back on us and be like, well, why don't you just kick them out before they come in? It's like, well, because sometimes it's busy and we're not there to stand at the front door and watch them 24/7. Like got shit to do, man.
oh yeah, I don't understand like that whole mentality of making the workers try and find
Oh,
their
it's so
privacy.
stupid.
Yeah,
And you
I'm
can't
like,
touch them. Like you can't like I mean obviously yeah, don't get to fist fight people, but like you literally can't even like grab the bag back or anything. Otherwise, like you get a final counsel or even
Yeah.
I've seen some people lose their jobs over it, right? So it's ridiculous. You can't do anything about it, but in the same breath, do something about it.
I
So
mean,
it's
the
like,
fact
well,
they're doing a barbecue is that they know that.
yeah, exactly, exactly. They know they can get away with it.
I mean,
Anyway,
it's
I
like,
I have to go. So
No, no worries, buddy.
it was fun. Until next time.
Of course. You have a great night, JW.
Yeah, bye.
but yeah, it's a shame, I was, like I was on Twitter, looking at that, and like I saw like videos. I mean, like hundreds of videos. Well, sorry, not hundreds, but a few videos, like people in Portland, people in California, like where you have spotters just kind of going into businesses, just kind of sitting there and like eating food and wearing stuff like just without paying for it. And no one is saying like no one is doing anything about it because I guess the the they have the whole the squatters right things, like they have protections. I'm like why are you giving, sorry, that's not to be rude,
No, I get you.
it's just like why are we giving homeless people more protections than like people who have a full-time job and people who are making a living? It definitely seems weird that we're doing that. And so, I mean, like the fact that you got to deal with it, that's I mean, you're a pretty chill dude. You're a pretty nice dude. So it's like I would hate to see somebody look at you and like be like, oh man, you're you're whatever. Like like just people like that. They
Oh
go
yeah.
through a lot, so it sucks that you had to deal with it.
No, I agree with you when you were saying that stuff because in like okay in this situation I don't know if maybe this is like how you're viewing it as but um I have one lady right for example she's like 50 years old. She has to take the bus to and from work and she literally can't use a bus shelter anymore because they've taken it like right over like literally tents are up everything. And it's again, I get it. You're just living there because you don't have a house and all that. But it's the fact that when drugs and alcohol come into it, which it does, right? Then it becomes the question of their safety, right? Because people react differently on everything. You can't predict how someone's going to be on that, right? And again, right, like they have to use this bus stop to get to work. So it sucks for that individual. As I said, it sucks for anyone of any age, right? But obviously, um, elderly and stuff like that, it's even worse because they do need to sit down. They do need that bench available to them, and it's not right. It's somebody's home, and it just yeah, I'm with you. Like it blows my mind that the city could do nothing about it. Like it's like yeah, well they have the bus shelter now. It's like well no, like don't you own that? Like
I don't understand it. Like like I love I love all people because I mean that's just the right thing to do. But it's like at some point in time we have to start doing something about it because I
yeah,
mean there's only so much we can do. Like I mean we can go out there, we can give them free food, we can give them money for a house, but it seems as
of
though
course.
it really though I think it should fall on all the managers and all the CEOs because I mean like they're the ones out here who can actually fix these problems because they have the money and they have the power to say give these people this and that. But I don't know. I mean, I would assume that Canada is way more like people friendly than America because I mean we have all this we have all this nonsense with capitalism. So everybody's trying to get money.
I mean, Canada can be the same way too. Um, Yeah, like, like I mean, it is a nice place to live. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I mean, there's lots of racism. There's lots of I'm better than you and nonsense like that, right? And definitely a lot of corporate greed here as well. It's just yeah, it's unfortunate because you're right. You're right. I mean, example in the situation I'm in, right? My boss could literally do something about it, but he's not going to because in his philosophy, I don't get paid to deal with that. I'm just paid to give you direction. It's like that's so sad.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna check out. I need to go to California, not California. I need to go to Canada and like see it for myself because I mean, everybody talks. There's been like everybody talks bad about like not the governor. What's it called? The prime minister or the
Yeah,
president. I don't know what his title is, but
no, no,
people
prime
talk a lot
minister. You're
about
right.
him. Okay, yeah, people talk a lot about him. So like, I want to see how it. I want to see how Canada looks because I mean, it can't be bad. I think that people are just overreacting because of that. But I do want to check it out because just to see what it's all about. But
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe one day, maybe when I become rich, when I become Mr. Beast rich, I'll do something about it.
I know, that'd be so cool. I'm with you. I would definitely want to travel and see different parts. And like I said, like Canada's not bad at all. Like there's some beautiful parts you can go to, and there's like I mean, just like in the states too, right? There's certain areas that are great, some areas that are bad. The one that I live in is a bad one, unfortunately. Not every single part is terrible, right? But yeah, there are, like I said before, we do have the highest murder rate, right? Like there's just a lot of crime right now in our city. We have a huge meth problem. Like it's just yeah, just lots of little things that added up that made Manitoba not so great. But
Yeah, I have never, I never knew that. Like, I have never heard of a murder at all in Canada. Like, not even
yeah, oh
once.
god, yeah. I don't even know like Cheyenne, what would it be like last? Like if you were to guess, how many murders do we have? I know it was under 100, right?
Mhm. That's
What's that?
It's just interesting. I just never knew that they even had like. I mean, yeah. I mean, I never knew that people like kill people in Canada. That's
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like
yeah.
if you ever look it up, if you ever look up Winnipeg, that's usually the first fact that pops up with it is murder capital.
Wow.
Cheyenne's just looking up the stats right now to see where we're at currently. But yeah, there was like literally 1 year that like I mean I said it's a terrible title to get. Like I'm not proud at all that we get that title. But just like to put it in perspective, there was 1 year I think it was January 2nd we already had our first murder. It was like oh my god, already starting the new year off strong. Like Jesus.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, because of course, over here, TV, like people make California, people make Canada, like it's the place where everybody just says, "Hey, everybody's friendly, everybody is, weed happy." So I
Yeah.
thought it was gonna be like that. I mean, no, I'm not gonna lie though. Even though there are those stereotypes, I would much rather have that than deal with what we got going on over here. I have
Oh,
no
okay.
problem living in a weed friendly place where everybody's just friendly and they all say, "Hey, I'm cool with that."
It's Cheyenne said it's at 53 right now, so that's the move we've had so far this year.
And that's great. I mean,
Oh, sorry, 2022. Sorry.
I know you can, yeah, I mean, like, I guess even though it's not as high as over here, that number, like, just me, it's a high number for me because, like, I guess, I was under the assumption of, that Canada was this place where everybody gets along. So that's why I guess it's surprising to me.
Yeah, like I know they like I said, I haven't been there, so I don't know if it's really as bad as they say. But I know they compare us a lot to Detroit apparently. But I've never been to Detroit, so I don't know if Detroit's really that bad to begin with.
Yeah, and actually, I think you see Detroit. I think like you guys, like I think you guys border. I think Detroit or Michigan borders Canada anyway, right? I think.
I think Z Chick's like, yeah, Detroit's all right.
I mean, I've never been to Detroit. I've been to Chicago, but I mean, I don't think it's like that. I mean, I would attest it because I
Yeah,
don't feel like going out like that, but I don't think it's like as bad. People make it out the same, but I mean,
but
they do have a
I
high. What's up?
no, I was gonna say I do agree with you, Pizza. Though, like compared to what we're dealing with, compared to what you have to deal with right now over there, there's definitely a lot more in the states. Like it's crazy. It's just crazy watching the news and see what you guys are going through.
Um, thank God I live far away from that because
Yeah,
I don't have time. I just do not have the time to deal with it. Not when I could be doing anything else. So yeah, that's where I stand on it. But yeah, I do want to come by. I do want to come over and like just check out Canada. See what it's all about. Maybe I'll actually no, well, I don't know where you live, but I'll try and like you can be my tour guide. How about that?
for sure, for sure. Yeah, if you ever come to Manitoba, I will. There is some beautiful places here.
Oh,
Z Chick was saying that she lived in Detroit. Gang murders and drugs. Just a small city that Detroit. Oh my god, that's terrible. Z
yeah,
Chick.
I mean that sounds about right. That sounds about right over there. 'Cause I mean, like, it's almost as if everyone over there has a gun, and like they just want to use it. Like people they just want to go out swinging, and I don't understand that mentality because
Yeah, that blows me away.
yeah, I don't have that kind of time to like just fight people. Like I'm good on that. So I'll definitely I want to check out Detroit or even Michigan because it looks nice. It's a very nature friendly place, but man, nature is scary.
Yeah, no, it just yeah, it blows me away that like anyone could just have a gun. Like I know there's still rules in the states of how to get one, but just like you know, pretty big majority do have guns. Like that's crazy. Like I mean, whatever, teach their own. But just yeah, just to me, it just seems like bizarre. Even Z chicks like no one uses their hands anymore.
crazy. I mean, I don't have a gun. I don't really need it. I don't really need one. I get why people shouldn't get one, just to have protection. But I'm like,
Yeah.
if you live in an area that's not like, dangerous, then you should be all right. At least for me, I live in a place that's not too bad. I mean, nobody here is really in our faces. Everybody's keeping
Yeah.
distance. I mean, like even at work and like even at the school. I mean, yeah, you got kids who are fighting teachers. We had a teacher who went to the hospital because he got punched in the face by a student. But that's
Ooh.
rare. And of course, it only happened because that teacher was trying to take the kid's phone away. So yeah. But I don't do all that. I keep to myself because those kids nowadays they are mean. They're big and mean.
Yeah, Zichik was kind of agreed to. She just says she's a great shot with her gun, but yeah, she doesn't believe in playing God with gun. I get that.
Yeah. Yeah. So the only guns that I use are in Call of Duty, and that's about it.
I like that too. Like I'm not even against that. Like I think it's like if someone wants to use a gun for target practice, like like not hunting, but you know what I mean, like just like shooting those discs or whatever. Like I totally get it. Like it's just another, just like axe throwing. It's just like any other kind of sport. It's just another thing you enjoy doing, another hobby.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
After
just
all,
mean more of like carrying a gun and like walking on the street. Like that just blows me away that people can do that.
yeah, I know, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't think they don't really do it much down here, even though they have this whole they have this the law, the whole like permitless carry thing. It really isn't like that bad. People are making it's the Wild West. I don't think like at least most of the gun enthusiasts over here, they seem to have a brain. They seem to think, they seem to have this common sense that, hey, shoot somebody for no reason, go to jail. So that does help. It helps having people with common sense. But I
Yeah.
mean, the rule, I mean, I don't know. Trying to, like trying to fight politics nowadays is like, it's too much work because, people are going to, we got plenty of I would call them D riders who will come to the defense of, oh, it's what's it called? It's oh yeah, it's 2A, it's pro 2A, it's Second Amendment. I'm like, yeah, but there's being pro gun and being pro crazy. Like
It's
it's
so true.
it's easy. It's really easy to get those two confused. So that's kind of why I don't understand the law being passed. But trying to trying to even deal with it is one of those things.
'Cause that's the nice part, like with streaming and all that, like getting a chance to talk to you or Zichik or anyone else lives in different parts of the world, right? You kind of you break through that ice, right? Of that, like you said, that stereotype that has, because like obviously, yeah, when people talk about the states on TV or whatever like that, it's like, oh yeah, it's all the same everywhere. Everyone's gun crazy. They're all doing this. But it's like, no, it's really not like that actually.
Yeah, it definitely isn't. But I mean, I wouldn't, I wouldn't even come to America with that idea because you know, there's always somebody who's just going to just go crazy. I mean, like if you go to Florida, if you come to Texas, if you go to that place in Minnesota, if you go to Detroit, if you go to downtown, if you go to like south of Chicago, like I mean, you go to Compton, like you're gonna have plenty of people who are gonna text you. So, you know, even though it doesn't happen, there are people out here who, they'll make you think twice. So, I mean, I would just say, if you're gonna go anywhere, go to Canada and visit Michael.
Hell yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, at least, I mean, you've been alive for a long time, so clearly, whatever you're doing is working.
That's right. That's right. Z-Chick just added in. It's not terrible where we are now, but we are like a few hours from South Detroit. and like an hour from Grand Rapids. Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh yeah. So yeah. So yeah. Yeah. You are native to that. That's pretty cool though. I mean, that's I wonder. So I'm guessing. So for I guess Cheyenne or you, I guess either one. Do you guys have like a border for Canada to the U.S. or is it just like it's just whatever?
Oh yeah, no, we have a border. Like I haven't crossed it in a really long time, but I used to go on family vacations, and yeah, we'd always go to. I think it was Grand Forks we went to.
Oh.
But we'd always cross the border.
Okay. Is it? I'm guessing. I'm sure. Oh, I'm sorry. That's sorry. Hang on. Is that me?
Yeah, no worries, buddy. Aw, thanks, CJick. Lighting candles, lighting candles all the time.
I'm sorry about that.
That's
I
okay.
was like, what's that noise? All right, there we go. My bad. I'm sorry, Michael.
No worries,
I
buddy.
did scare you. Yeah, someone played music on my computer. That was so weird. I think that's why it was on Steam. A Steam page was playing music. I don't know why I thought it was on autoplay.
Oh,
All right, we're good now. Man. Oh, okay, it's fine. So back to my question. I was gonna say, um, is is the border is it as like strict as like for the Mexico border or is it kind of laid back?
well, like I said, I've only been to the Grand Forks. And Christ, I must have been like, I don't know, 13 at the oldest that I went. It wasn't too strict from what I remember. Like we got through pretty easy, but then again, it was like my grandpa, my mom, and me. Like probably like whatever family let them through. Um, but I did like see people get pulled over and searched and stuff like that as we were, going through the border patrol, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it wasn't ever too bad for us. I think the most intense part was just coming back to Canada, just because my mom would always overspend, so we'd always be like, "Oh my god, here they're gonna catch us now." 'Cause I can't remember you were given like a budget of whatever it was, $500 or $1,000 you were allowed to spend and bring back.
Oh, oh, interesting. I mean, I guess so. I'm I just thought that I would assume that since we're like pretty much neighbors, like it wouldn't be a big deal. I mean, I could see you that being a rule if you were going overseas, like going across the ocean, that kind of thing. But I mean, like for example, if someone lives in Detroit, and like they live on the pretty much on the border, like I'm sure that it's not going to be that big of a deal to just have,
Yeah,
but I don't know. I guess, if that's their rules, then I guess so. I mean, or like vice versa, like if you're in Canada and, like you live on the border, like I don't think it'll be that big of a problem to just bring, plenty of things back. But yeah, if that's what they want you guys to do, then, I can't argue with them.
yeah. I feel like it's like you said earlier. It's just kind of like they want you to spend it, like just in Canada, obviously your money like that. Not greed, I guess, but maybe they're just trying to like support their own country. But then again, like we're all part of NATO anyway, so it's like we have that free trade agreement, and regardless, especially back then before Trump and all the changes and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I get, but I get, like they want you guys to support your fellow patriots. So I understand, you know. Actually, I wonder, let me see. I want to see if there's like a big difference in
Oh,
how the money compared to. I think there probably
the,
is a big difference in the money. Let me check.
there was a huge difference. I know as far as like pricing went. Like back when I went, like there'd be, I don't know, video games, let's say, that were $60 here, and I got lucky and got like some for like $5 or $10 when I went to the States. Like it was exciting every year going. I was like, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna blow this $100 on a good time.
Oh yeah, actually, right now I'm on Google right now. I looked up like just a US dollar for here over there, and it's like, yeah, I mean, for $60 over here, that's like $81 over there. That's
Yep.
crazy. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money just gone.
Oh yeah, it's stupid. Especially you get to like video game systems, like the difference in pricing is ridiculous.
Yeah. So I can see now why people hate the whole $70 thing with the games. I can see now why it's a big deal because yeah, you're paying almost $100 for a single game. That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Hey,
wouldn't.
Z chick.
Hello.
So yeah, I guess America has that going on. But yeah, I mean that's yeah. If I was in Canada, I would probably just move out. Or I would do all my spending in America and just bring it back with me because yeah, that's. But I'm
I would
guessing
just have a friend shipping me stuff all the time.
yeah,
Ship me the games.
yeah. 'Cause I mean, I couldn't see myself doing it. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe you guys have higher like living wages over there.
No, no, we're just starting to get up to the $15 an hour. In fact, my province is the last one to do it. They're still at 14.50.
Wow, that's interesting. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that should have been a thing when it should have been a thing like years ago. Because I mean,
Oh, it
like
was terrible. Like there were some provinces that were still at $8 an hour. Like it was crazy. We were all over the board across Canada. No
that's
one had the same what do you call it, minimum wage.
that's crazy.
Dang, you should invest in a titty bar. Money, money, money. I'm just saying.
They
Sorry.
have those, but they're still still crappy wages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I know that in Texas, like we still have, like I know that we probably had the lowest wage still. I mean, we had the whole 725 that still is going on. But of course, like with those kind of jobs, those are jobs that are mainly geared towards like teenagers, so it's not too bad. It does. I think like I think they caught on to where if you're an adult, they're going to pay you a bit more compared to a teenager, so it's not too bad. But I mean, you know, I'm it just it is pretty low. But I think looking at it now, getting perspective on how you guys have your currency compared to ours, I don't think that spending like $10 is a bad thing now. But yeah, if I was anywhere else, I mean, especially if I was in Australia, like that would be the worst
Oh yeah.
because like people over there they complain about everything because I mean it's over there well, I mean I don't know if it sucks, but I mean people just they hate over there.
Well, all the animals and everything. They got a terrible time in Australia.
Oh yeah, they have
Most
that. They
dangerous
have
snakes
turtles.
and everything else. Spiders.
Oh yeah, I mean like like
You know, the grass is always presumably greener on the other side.
I mean, it is a
it
beautiful
is.
place.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but the thing is, like, I could be like, ooh, I want to move here because I think it's going to be awesome. Well, I mean, the reality is maybe it's awesome because I'm not over there fucking it up.
That's true.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, not that I would fuck up everywhere, but, I just feel like it has a lot to do with, your surroundings too, like the choices that you're making and the things that you want to do.
That's very
Oh
true.
yeah, definitely. Definitely, I mean, I don't think that people around me are crazy enough to do like anything stupid. I think all my peoples are hippies, so we're good there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was gonna say.
I didn't do it.
No, I just choked on my drink. Zichik, before we wrap up the podcast, because we are gonna put it to an end there. I asked pizza already, and I answered, and JW answered. But I made an easy one for the end this time. I was just gonna say if you wanted to shout out either a TV show, a movie, a game, a YouTube channel, whatever it is, something you think that people should be watching because you just think it's freaking awesome, um, let us know. So Pizza had a streamer that he thought was worth watching. I shouted out that comedy guy I was posting on the Discord.
I'm Well, I think everybody should watch the show Fringe if you like sci-fi stuff because that's a great show and it's definitely bingeable.
Ooh, was that one
And
on
you have
Netflix?
to I don't. I think that might be on Hulu right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it could be on your Netflix because your Netflix in Canada is different than mine. I found out the other day that when I was in a Discord stream with Bento, we were working on some stuff together or whatever, and he showed me his Netflix, and I was like, "Hey, wait, I don't have that. Why do you have that?"
Yeah.
And then, we were sharing screens, and I was like, "He's like, wait, I don't have that," and I was like, "What the fuck?" So you might have Fringe on your Netflix. It's a great show, though.
Okay.
I say stick with it because, like, you smoke weed and shit, so you just have to stick with it for, like, a couple episodes before it starts to make sense, and that's all I can say.
Okay, then I like it.
Yeah, it's so great. I don't know if you like. I think you like shows that have like full closure, that like come full circle.
Oh yeah.
Like they have like a beginning, a whole plot, and then they end and like they wrap up everything. That's one of those shows, but it gets a little fucking twisty and chaotic somewhere in there.
Nice.
Like you ate a little shrooms here and there while you're watching it.
I like it.
Yeah, it's super great. So that's a show that I think everybody should totally binge worthy.
I think that's a great show.
Yeah, wow. I don't really have much else. I mean, I think I'm coming to the end of Jedi Fallen Order. I've been binging the shit out of it for 2 days, along with Life is Strange.
Oh yeah.
And I just I'm just past. I fought that dude already. What's his name? Talos or whatever. I don't know what his name
that
was.
jerk. Yeah, the old man.
Yeah, I fought him already. So I'm just past that, I guess. I fought him and I took the chick with me.
Yeah.
And I went back to the other planet.
Yeah, so you're definitely getting close to the end game now. But yeah, he was an arsehole. Did you have a hard time beating him too, or was it just me?
Man, I spanked his ass. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't die. I didn't die once fighting him.
Wow, he did awesome then. No, I died a lot. He was freaking whip my ass. I think I had to cheat. That was when I was able to beat him. I had to do the what is it? I think it was like the special where you take the two lightsabers and you swing them together. But I have played a little bit now.
I kept running out of fucking like my shit, my force.
Yeah.
Every time I used like the two, I was like, oh my god. And I suck at dodging anything in any flipping game.
Oh, me too.
Like I just never use dodge or block, so I'm just always like, whoa, getting smacked around. I was like, oh my god.
I think that's why I used that move, because I think it was kind of like a block too. But yeah, I basically just spammed the shit out of that. That's the only way I was able to beat him.
Yeah, and like when you're like trying to break away from his lightsaber, you gotta hit circle.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sitting here, freaking dumbass gummy alert. I just kept hitting circle. I didn't go back to hitting square. I don't know how I didn't die. Because I was just like, why isn't it working? Oh my god, I totally should have streamed some of that chaos, but I didn't.
Oh, that's good. That was a good victory.
Anyways, yeah, it was great. Spider had a hell of a time. He enjoyed watching me.
That's a good game to watch someone play. Like, it's definitely entertaining.
I did make a lot of clips.
Nice.
So, yeah. And then I finished Life is Strange 2 tonight and started True Colors, so that's cool.
Oh, awesome. So were you happy with the ending of Life is Strange 2?
Fuck that game, bro.
Oh.
I was so mad. No, I was happy with it.
Oh, okay.
Eventually, I guess, but it was insane. Like the whole border scene. If you haven't played it, I won't tell you, but it's absolutely insane.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to give that one a go.
It was so insane. Okay. Love you too. No, I'm not muted. Everybody heard it. Hugs to all for my mini.
Aww.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug all the time. He's always plugging himself. But to be fair, he does have some cool shit.
That's right, he does. You rock it. But yeah, it's definitely supper time. So, thank you guys so much for joining in.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Z Chick,
Sorry
for
for hopping in so late.
no worries. It was nice. At least we got to hear what your thoughts were on the end there. Pizza.
Sweet.
Thank you so much for the video game chat and the lifestyle chat. It was nice hearing your thoughts on some of the things in this world. And
Yeah.
JW, even though you're gone, thank you, buddy, for hopping on for a good like hour and a half there, just chatting with me about the list of games.
Enjoy your dinner. Have a good night.
Oh, thank you.
Bye, pizza.
Bye, guys.
Well, y'all take care.
Bye.
And there we go. Yeah, so thank you guys so much. This is a lot longer than I thought it was gonna go. I honestly thought it was gonna end like an hour ago, but that's okay. It was just good conversation. I will see you guys tomorrow on YouTube if you wish. It'll be an hour of power with Mobile Wednesday. I'm mixing up my days now. Mobile Wednesday, where I think I'm just gonna play the same RPG again, in all honesty, because I'm kind of liking it a lot. And then we also got an hour of power on Thursday, and then Friday will be Let's Get Physical Friday with some more Far Cry 4. I will see you guys next week on the podcast if I don't see you tomorrow. Bye. Have a beautiful night.